second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about...
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
English, mother...
Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Let's put a smile on that face.
What's up, film family, and welcome back to the Film Room Podcast. My name is Dan, and I'm here with my boy Scott. Say what's up, Scott.
Yo, what up?
And today's episode, we're talking about the 2001 crime thriller Training Day. So now, this was my first time watching the movie, but this was a rewatch for you, right?
Yes, this was my second time watching. So I had seen it once a few years ago, and I really liked it. Okay, and you know, it was so popular with the Denzel performance, especially like all the big stuff that's we've seen on social media, like his monologue at the end, the King Kong shit. There's all these moments that have gone viral, I guess. So that was one of the big reasons that I watched it early on, and great movie. What do you think? First watch.
I really enjoyed it, and it's interesting to me too because when I first heard about the movie, I kind of always knew what it was about, and then it's always been around me. Like my dad's always told me, "Oh, you got to watch Training Day; it's good." Denzel's into it, and I for a while I've been saving it. Sometimes like you have like a good movie, like, oh, I want to save it. It's like, like sometimes if I'm traveling, I was like, I don't want to watch it on a laptop. Let me save it till I can watch it because I keep hearing it's good. Sometimes you want to watch it like on a TV if you hear it's a good movie. Sometimes watching on a laptop or like maybe like a phone doesn't do it justice. So I've been kind of saving it, and then you said, "Oh, do you want this episode?" I'm like, all right. This is the moment.
This is the time. Yeah,
this is the time.
You've saved it, and this is the time to pop your Training Day cherry.
Yeah, exactly.
Ironic, actually. They talk about that in with Jake. He's popping his cherry.
That's
right?
true.
So this was your Training Day. Nice work.
And honestly, I didn't know the concept of it just being in one day too. I don't know why. When I heard that, also it piqued my interest. I was like, oh, it's interesting. I was like, I assume, I don't know, Training Day. Sometimes that still could have been like just a metaphor of like the guy's training, and it could be over like a whole week or something. I didn't realize it was like everything's happening in one day, which makes it even seem even wilder. It's a wild day.
Yeah. I mean, they even say it at the end, like what a day. But I mean, think about Jake too. Like right at the start, he gets up and the alarm clock says 5 a.m. So he gets up at 5, and then all this shit happens throughout the day, and he gets home and it's night. And crazy day. And I kind of find that interesting because in some movies it could be tough to tell like how long things take, and in some movies, you know, there's years that are passing, and this one's some of them are only a couple hours. You know, this one's one day. I don't know. It's just an interesting concept that those differences in movies can be really, really crazy.
Oh, for sure. And even throughout the movie, they put an emphasis like on that time is passing, like with the sun. You see the sun like slowly going down throughout the day and stuff, and like I feel like they make a note of it. They don't necessarily like constantly showing like clocks, but like, oh, now it's 12 o'clock. Now it's not like that kind of movie. And some movies do that, but they did it more through just the light outside. They just kept showing it slowly getting darker throughout the day.
Yeah, and I mean, really, we the only reason that time is kind of important in this movie, you know, if it's like a Nolan movie or like a time travel movie, that time is super important, then they have to really emphasize like what time it is or how long things are taking. But really the only stakes here time wise is that, you know, he has until midnight, like Alonzo has until midnight to get this money to the Russians. And so
that's true.
We know that all of this has to happen in one day. But other than that, like, so showing it with the light and the sun passing is plenty good enough to let the audience know kind of how time is passing and stuff. But are you a big Denzel guy?
I do really like Denzel. I feel like I'm more of a Will guy though. If we're gonna compare, I mean, not saying one is better than the other. I think that's mostly I've definitely seen more of Will's movies. And as I was looking at Denzel stuff, there's a lot of movies I was like, I want to watch that. And I realized I'm like, there's so many of these Denzel movies. I'm like on my watch list, but I've basically seen every Will movie. Like any big Will movie, besides like I think 7 Pounds is the only big Will movie that I haven't seen. I don't know if that's considered a big Will movie, but just a movie that people said, oh, he was really good in that. That's one of the few that I haven't seen of Will's.
And I mean the the director for this did Emancipation, which is one of Will's movies.
Yeah,
But
true.
he did a
Antoine
bunch of
Fuqua, I think.
yeah. He did a bunch of Denzel
Yeah.
movies. Like he did The Equalizers, and he did what else did he do? He did
He did Southpaw. I don't know if
Magnificent
you've ever seen
Seven.
that.
Yeah, Southpaw
true.
with Jake Gyllenhaal. I haven't seen it. No, have
He
you?
did- I've seen it. It's a pretty good movie.
Okay.
Yeah, and Olympus Has Fallen too. It's
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman's in that one. Yeah, I mean he's
Yeah.
been in the game for a long time. I was looking at his filmography, 30 years plus as of now, like as of 2024. He's been in the game for 30 years.
Yeah,
He's a veteran in the game. man.
I was impressed too when like you said, I looked at through his filmography. I saw all these bangers. I was like, oh shit, nice. But I didn't even recognize the name really. So I was kind of
Mhm.
surprised. I was like, oh, he did all these big movies, but I don't know his name.
The crazy
I'm
thing is, like,
surreal.
I knew, I knew he when I saw that when I watched Southpaw and then I watched The Equalizer, I was like, oh, it's the same guy. And then I saw that he did Training Day. I was like, oh, this guy's no joke. He knows. Clearly he likes crime too. If you look at most of his movies, a lot of it has to do with crime.
True.
But hey, if you have your niche, you stick with it.
Yeah, like
Tarantino does a lot of crime too, and
yeah, I was gonna
gangster
say
stuff.
yeah,
So.
Tarantino. I was gonna say what's his name? That works with De Niro all the time and did the Scorsese, like all the mob movies,
Oh, okay.
the
Oh, yeah,
organized crime.
exactly.
Like he's got a bunch of those.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then what's it called? The writer too, David Ayer. Just to give him a shot. He didn't really do like a lot, but I saw that he wrote the original. He helped write the original screenplay for Fast and Furious, and also he wrote the Suicide Squad movie. So depending on who you talk to, maybe you hate him or you like him. I don't know. Those are controversial movies.
Which Suicide
Fast
Squad?
and Furious one, not so. The 2016 one.
Okay, yeah. The
That's
not
love
good
and
one.
hated.
The really bad one.
Yeah, it's got iconic moments in it, and iconic characters. Because obviously Harley Quinn, and then Will's is pretty good in that movie. But the movie in itself,
Yeah, it's not
is-
good. And I mean,
yeah.
I think Will's character is good, and we remember it because it's Will.
yeah,
But Harley Quinn, you're right. Like she was like a pop culture staple. Like
yeah.
there was every girl was Harley Quinn for Halloween that year, and like
still
it was
are too.
yeah. So you're right. There's definitely some kind of pull with that movie, but that doesn't mean it's a good movie.
No, it's true. It's not the best. And then he did the original Fast and Furious, which like overly no one really hates that, but
Yeah, it's a
people
good one.
maybe just don't love the franchise. So you started this. You might look at him like that.
Yeah, well, at least his claim can be, I actually wrote a racing movie. The writers for the new ones, like
Yeah, that's true.
He doesn't have any part of that. He's like, I don't have any control of what it's become. But
That's
hey,
true.
you
Yeah.
can't blame me. I started this racing movie. All right, they're going to space and all this shit that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, it's got way out of hand. You know what I also saw too? The last thing is like I saw that in 2017 because I was looking at his credits of his writing credits and they got like based on these characters they made a Training Day TV show.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I saw it
Until you saw it.
Yeah.
13 episodes though. It's like, is that training week or is that all 13 episodes in the same day? Like, I'm kind of curious now.
I actually don't know. I don't even know what is it. Is it set like? Is it a prequel or a sequel or I don't even know. I didn't look at it. I just saw that there was a.
That they made a show. It said
Yeah.
following the events, but
Oh.
it seems like it's the exact same thing. It's just another case of and they switched it. They made the bad cop or the crooked cop a white dude and then the rookie cop a black dude. So they just swapped it.
Okay,
That's all they did. They're like, let's just switch the races and now here we go. Let's make a
Okay.
TV show. Still
All right,
in LA,
well,
everything. I don't know. It only 13 episodes and got canceled.
Yeah,
so
I was
don't
gonna
know
say
if
I don't think it was very good. If it didn't
No, I
last
don't
very
think
long.
so.
And I mean, even just like the whole concept of this movie doesn't really lend to a sequel or a TV show like there's a
TV show.
spin-off or
Yeah.
something like that. Like some movies you can see it, right? You're like, okay, there's all sorts of like side plots and side characters. You can see where they can make a spin-off or they can do a sequel. But this one, like, I don't really see it. Like I don't get how the show would be good, and looks like I'm right.
No, you're right. The only thing I'd say is that they I don't think they should do it. I think the only thing that would have made sense for this show is to do like a prequel of Alonzo's life before. Like, how did he
Yeah.
get this way, maybe, or something like that. I don't want to see that. I'm just saying that, but
Well,
just in case
this is
studio hears this, they want it. Let's make it. Like, I don't want that.
well, this is actually
But-
this is one of my facts. I'll say it now. There actually is a prequel
Oh God.
that follows young Alonzo during the Rodney King trial, and it
Okay.
started production in 2022. So it's already happening, my man.
Oh my goodness.
It's already happening.
Oh,
You're
my
saying you don't want it?
goodness.
I'm sorry, it's happening.
Damn it,
I
man.
think a prequel could be good though, because like
Maybe, but
you know when
yeah.
we jump into the movie, Alonzo, like we already see him. He has all of his contacts, and he's already deep within, you know, like in the system, and he's well established in all of his backwards under the table shit. So like seeing how he got from a good cop, and even says in the beginning, like when Jake is saying no to all the bad stuff, he's like, "Oh, you sound just like me when I was young."
Yeah.
So
No,
like
it's true.
kind of seeing how he got from there to where he is, I could see how that could work.
I understand what you're saying, but to me, I feel like the lore and the nostalgia of this movie comes from Denzel and then Ethan Hawke. You know what I mean? Like, it's those guys. Like, I don't know, like you make a prequel and then suddenly I assume, I mean, they'd probably have to go with big names, like if they're gonna do it, like a known like black guy to be him. They can't just do like some no name. Maybe they could,
They
but I
could
just
go
feel
with
like
Denzel's son.
That's true.
There you go.
That is true.
I didn't see that his name was attached to it, and I feel like they would
Yeah.
mention that if it was.
No,
so I don't think
100%.
it is. I mean,
No.
I think it's a I actually don't know if it's a TV show or a movie. I'm actually not sure.
I don't know.
If it's a
I
TV
guess we'll
show, then it's
find out.
definitely not John David Washington. But I don't
We'll
know.
find out when we find out. Like, every podcast we do is going to be made into a prequel TV show or movie going forward. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you want it or not. It's happening.
It's happening. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into the movie.
All right.
So we open up and we get Jake waking up from his bed and his wife is breastfeeding. So right from the jump, they let you know that he's becoming a new dad. So while he's getting ready for work, he gets a call from Alonzo, who's right off the bat also lets us know that he's no nonsense, because he tells him to meet him at a coffee shop and he hangs up as soon as Jake tells him how excited he is to be on the force and everything. He's just no
Yeah,
nonsense.
He crushes the rookie right away. He's like,
Oh yeah,
thank you for this opportunity, sir. Blah blah blah. He's like, shut up.
yeah.
And to be fair, like come on, Jake. Like you gotta at least like act like you've been there a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like have a little bit of swagger to you. Don't be the little peppy rook. Like come on.
Like, yeah, I understand, like, trying to be, like, respectful and be, like, oh, appreciate, but he's like, yo, I'm so excited. Like, yo, chill. Like, calm down. Like,
Exactly.
relax. Yeah. But so then we get them in the coffee shop. And I thought the scene was funny, too, because Alonzo's just trying to read his newspaper and Jake's trying to talk to him, obviously. And he's like, yo, tell me a story. And he's like, well, 90% of what I read in the newspaper is bullshit, but it's entertaining. And you're stopping me from reading it. So entertain me with your bullshit. And it's just like, why did you invite him to the coffee shop if you didn't want to talk to him?
That's true.
Like, we could have
Yeah.
been like, I'm gonna get my coffee, read my newspaper, and we'll meet up after.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
why
that's a good
did
point.
why did you want him there? I don't know.
Well, I mean, he did, to be fair, when Jake sat down, he's like, "Oh no, get some food." Like he was gonna buy him breakfast. So
Yeah,
he was
I
like,
guess
"No,
that's-
come down, get some breakfast." Jake turned it down. So he was like, "No, we'll sit. I'll read my paper. We'll eat breakfast, and then we'll go on our day." But Jake says no, and he tells him 3 times, like, "Just shut up and let me read my
Yeah, I
paper."
know.
And then he waits 2 minutes, and then he says something. It's like, "Bruh, come on, man. He just told you."
You know, you just Jake. So, but
Jake-
Jake does.
but I,
Yeah, go. Yeah.
well, I was just gonna say he's doing this just to like immediately like kind of show that authority,
Yeah.
and just immediately start putting him down to be like, because he knows that Jake's peppy and is yearning kind of for his approval, and because it's like a tryout basically, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't actually know if he's got the position on the team. It's like a 1-day trial, so he's Alonzo's showing him the ropes, and he's just letting him know right off the bat, like, "Nah, I'm in charge."
Yeah. Yeah. Just putting the foot down, is laying the law.
Yeah.
But Jake does tell him a story. He tells him about a DUI story, but Alonzo wasn't feeling it because he was like, oh, he's like, you want to hear something more juicy? You were trained by a woman, and that's all you got to tell me. He's like, let's get out of here. But that he just came with that one line. I hope I'm not stepping on your quote, but he's just like, you have a dick, right? He's like, okay, so dick lines up straight just like that, right? On the right side of it, and the left side of it, there's pockets, right? So go in there, pay them, and then pay the bill. Let's get out of here.
That was so unnecessary though. Like, why did you have
It
to
was
ask
very
me as a
unnecessary.
dick to pay the bill? Like, just like you could just say pay the bill. You know, they'd be like,
Yeah,
you have
I
a
know.
penis, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
I don't know why that's relevant, but sure.
He just want to get his bars in. He's been sitting on that one. That's his one he always does with the rookies, apparently. He's been sitting on that.
Yeah, you're
joke.
probably right. He's done this over and over and over. He doesn't even like to
Oh.
read the newspaper, I'm sure. He's just
No,
doing
he
that
doesn't.
just to flex on the rooks.
Definitely. I mean, speaking of another flex, then we get them going outside in that they hop into that 1979 Chevy with the hydraulics too. I was like,
Yeah.
damn. They only use it really the one time. They didn't really flex it beside it, but I guess you just need to flex it the one time. That's all you really need to do. Just let them know.
You
what
just had to
got.
let
He's
him
like,
know that
okay.
it's there.
Yeah. And then the ultimate flex after, he's like, oh, we head into the office. He's like, we in the office, baby. And then cue right into Still Dre. I was like, oh, that's a sick.
That was hard.
That's a
Yeah,
sick
that was hard.
little transition. I like that. And we get our Family Guy moment right away. Because then he's like, hey, today is your training day, Officer Hoyt. I'm like, hey, he said the name. I mean, you figured that was going to happen, especially because it's just the word training. But
yeah, it's a simple title. It's not like training
Inception.
day, Jake's first time, or you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
exactly.
that'd be a little much.
But Jake tells Zoe, like, I'm gonna call him Zoe because Alonzo Zoe. As
Okay.
I keep slipping out of it. But yeah, so he tells Zoe that he wanted to be detective, and he tells him that he gives him the whole "you stick with me and I'll get you to the top" speech. And Jake says, I'll do whatever you want me to do. And then Denzel, I mean, Zoe's character's like, my nigga.
Yeah.
You know when he calls him that so many times in the movie that it's actually hilarious. I made like a count. I want to take a guess.
Oh.
Take a guess how many times Alonzo called Jake my nigga.
I had no idea you were coming with a count. I'm totally on the spot here. I'm gonna guess 9 times.
5 times.
Okay, shoot.
He called him a nigga 8 times, but he called him my
Okay.
nigga 5 times.
Okay. Nice research. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, I was just counting, but you know, it was also funny too on the website that I watch my movies. I'm not gonna out myself, so just in case YouTube figures me. But the site that I use to watch movies, there's subtitles, and every time he said nigga, the subtitles put the hard R on it.
Oh,
And I was like, damn, who made these subtitles?
yeah.
Because someone had to make them. What are they hearing?
Yeah, come on, guys. And it's
It just looks
clearly
so
not
jarring.
hard R.
It's clearly not. But
Yeah, that's a racist ass subtitle, man. Come on.
I'm sticking with the site though. I'm sticking with the site.
As
But
long
then,
as it's free.
He was like, yeah. But anyway, we get into the drug bust. So Zoe explains he has guys working in the street with him to inform him kind of what's going on. So they watch as a drug deal goes down with some college kids. Then they bust them like right away. And Zoe shows Jake how he goes about being like, he shows him how overly aggressive he is, because like in that bus he's like, they're screaming at them, which again at first it didn't seem normal because he's like screaming pretty aggressively at them, but just like saying hands on your chest. But then he grabs you by the ear and it's just like getting aggressive. Like, next time I'll take your car, have you walk around. And he's like, okay, it's a little much. But this is the first time Jake gets to see like, okay, this guy's he's a little wild.
Yeah, and they got their guns out pointing at them too. Like, they're just grabbing them because they bought some weed. Like, you don't even have your guns in their face. But
yeah, no, it was
a
a bit.
These are all just like power trips for him to just flex his muscle and like kind of show his dominance to Jake. And just like pretty much, yeah, the start of this movie is just him basically punking Jake. Just again, like I was saying before, showing that he's in charge.
Yeah.
I think really that's what all this is, just to show that he's in charge, that he's the boss, and he has all this power, and Jake's gotta know his place.
Yeah, and again, it's very early in the movie, but they're showing us it without actually telling us it. Like, they don't have to be like, oh, you gotta watch. No one went up to me. You gotta watch out for Alonzo. He does this. Like, They're immediately every interaction they've had in the first like 10 minutes, you already know who he is. Basically, you get a sense of what he is, and then he goes even further when like they get back into the car and he tries to push Jake to take a hit of the drugs, and he's just like, nah, man, like nah. And then he gets really extreme where he just straight up stops the car, puts a gun to his head. He's like, hey, if you did that in the streets, you'd be dead right now. And he's like, he tells him, get out of my car, rookie. And he's like, damn. So Jake he falls for the pressure and then ends up taking it. But I was like, yo, have a little backbone. I don't think at the end of the day he would have kicked him out of the car. To be honest, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's tough to say. And I mean, but like this motherfucker stopped at the middle of an intersection too. Like he could have pulled over and done the same thing. You didn't need to stop at the middle of the intersection. But this is just like he's like, no, I own the streets. This is all. I'm in charge of everywhere. I'm the police. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So this is this is the kind of his character, and like you said though, they're showing it to us. They're not like having a side character or some extra kind of say, oh, watch out for this guy, or man, like Alonzo, he's coming around, let's hide everything, like that would have gotten our lazy award if they did something like that.
100%.
They showed us. So.
No, 100%.
Good shit.
So then we get Alonzo tells him that he because Jake starts tripping out, and at first I was like, what kind of weed is this? Man's just like looking around, seeing green and everything. I'm like, yo,
you know what's crazy about that?
What?
When they take the weed from the kids that they just that just bought it, right? So they go to the car and they take the weed from them. Mm-hmm. He opens up the pack and he's like, man, this is garbage. Like from Mexico, you see like the leaf, it's not matured and blah, blah, blah. So you were just saying how garbage this weed is, and Jake is absolutely fried. Yeah. So I was like, it can't be that bad.
And that's what and then he says that it's not even weed, it's like dust. It's like PCP. And I was like, how would he even, I guess Jake clearly doesn't know narcotics. He didn't even know what drug he was looking at.
Well, I think it was just like sprinkled on top.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in narcotics either. I wouldn't even know what if I saw what it would look like. No. But he's tripping the hell out. And even Roger, when he gets to Roger too, he tells him like, that shit's garbage. But I mean, if you look at Jake over there, he's not.
That's what I'm saying. I was like,
it doesn't look like garbage to me.
How shitty this weed is, and Jake is smacked. Like, how is it? It's not that bad.
How good is it supposed to be? That's the question I get.
It was supposed to kill Jake, apparently.
So as I mentioned, they meet up with Roger, which is one of his one of his guys. He's like one of the guys on the streets, kind of, that like is a dealer, and then they start drinking. Like Jake's already smashed. He's like, all right, now we're gonna drink. And
training day, baby.
Training day. And Roger tells a story about like the whole snail, about like, oh, let me tell you a story about a snail. I'm curious do you remember the snail story? Talking about like a snail comes to the porch, he throws it over, breaks his shell, and then he comes back, and then he's just like, what did he say? What are you still doing here? No, what's your problem?
Yeah.
And then Jake's like, that's what you gotta understand the streets. And then Jake's talking about how like, oh, the streets is like a fake smile. But I'm like, to me, that had nothing to do with that story. Like, what did you get from that story? I'm just kind of curious.
I agree. I think Jake, like what Jake was saying, had nothing to do with that story.
Yeah.
I think I feel like what Roger kind of was meaning with that story was saying, like the small snail, is getting punked by the human, right? That's tossing away. And he's like, no, like, again, like in the streets, if you're a small snail like that, you'll just get squashed like a bug. So like, you got to kind of know your place within the streets. Mm-hmm. But then Jake goes off the side and just says, yeah, no, it's about smiling and crying, and those are the only two things you control. And they both look at each other like with a nod of approval, like, yeah, this guy gets it. But I was like, the fuck? Like, how does that mean this guy gets it?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, he just used another analogy. Like, he just disregarded what he just said in that story and then said, let me tell another story. This is what I think the streets are. I'm like, all right, whatever.
And they both nod at each other like, yeah, this guy's good.
They're like, let him have it. He's fucked up.
Yeah. That's probably what it was. They're just like, whatever. He's high.
Yeah. So then they end up leaving, and Alonzo's driving, and he offers him a beer. He's like, this will make you feel better. I'm like, bro, you're really trying to get this guy messed up.
Yeah,
and I think he's drinking too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also don't know if that's true. Like, here, drink this beer, it'll make you feel better. Will it? I don't I don't know about all that.
I don't
but
know
sure.
about all that too. And it's just wild too because he's driving and drinking too. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
this is drinking and driving. It's like, I mean, it's obviously they're bad guys anyway. Well,
Yeah.
not I shouldn't say Jake's a bad guy, but Lonzo's not worried about because they were saying, oh, they let us know like a week in advance about like getting tested and everything. But I'm like, so you just whiling like that constantly still? Just doing drugs and drinking and driving, like just your own health. It's not even about like, oh, I'm a badass, I do whatever I want. Just like
Right.
you're intoxicated though. Like you might hit a car or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's all just
It's a power thing.
Yeah, it's a power thing. It's all just establishing his character, I think. Just again showing like he does what he wants, right? Like drinking and driving, he doesn't care, waving his gun in kids' faces and stopping in the middle of the street and all this stuff. Like he just doesn't care. He can do whatever he wants because he's a cop.
Yeah. Not true. King Kong ain't got shit on him.
Facts. Yeah.
If we didn't know. But so Jake tells him to stop the car because he sees a girl being assaulted by these two crackheads. And I kid you not, this is my first thought. I thought one of the crackheads looked exactly, no, I shouldn't say exactly, but looked like Lil Uzi Vert. I don't know if you know it's the black dude. He had a little Uzi kind of vibe. I even looked it up. I'm telling you, anyone listening right now, if you go watch that scene again when he's up against the fence, and then go search up Lil Uzi Vert side by side, it's there. Trust me.
Yeah, now that you mention, I see it. Yeah.
There's a
I
little
didn't think
bit
of it
of
in
that.
the moment, but I could see it now that you mention it. Yeah.
But Jake hops out of the whip to go help the girl because the two crackheads are trying to assault her, like I was saying. And he just at first we didn't realize that there was two actually. He was just fighting the one guy, another guy comes in, and then he's just taking on two guys. And Alonzo just watches. He just takes a cigarette and just like, okay. And but in the end, he ends up beating the shit out of them, kind of like zip tying them. And those crackheads were talking shit like the whole time. Like, I don't know, they were talking so big, even when they were like down and out. They're like, oh, F you, like, suck my dick. Like, I was like, damn, bro, like, you're not up right now.
Yeah.
Like, how can you be talking all this when you're literally like face down in the ground?
Yeah, and then Alonzo, like, he threatens the guy. He gets the guns in his face. He's gonna tell him he got to shoot his balls off.
Yeah.
And he threatens the black guy. But then the white guy, even as Jake's leaving, he's like, "No, fuck you! I'm gonna beat your ass." And this, like, even as he's walking away, he's already been beaten up.
Yeah,
his hands are tied behind his back, and Jake's walking away, and he's still talking shit. Hey, I respect it. I respect it.
I guess. Hey, the confidence of a crackhead. I guess.
Yeah,
Like they're
exactly.
confident as hell. They've got no weapons, but anyway, they like I said, they save the girl. They let her go. But Jake finds her wallet on the ground, which will help him dearly later. And he
Sure
tucks
will.
that in his back pocket, and they move on. So like then there's the whole like aftermath of everything they went through, and again, Jake seeing more of who Alonzo is, and he's like, man, like what you did back there is messed up. Like we did no evidence, we didn't file anything, we just let them go. We like didn't even like console the girl, like make sure she's okay and everything. And he's like, yeah. And then he was just telling me, you got to be tough out there, man. He's like, you have to be wolf to save the sheep. Like only wolves can take care of the wolves, kind of thing, right? And he gives him like a kind of like props too, because like he held his own. But he also brings up, hey, you used an illegal chokehold back there. Like I thought we weren't supposed to do those anymore. And he's like, yeah, man, I was getting my ass kicked. He's like, hey, that's what I'm saying. Wolves, you got to be a wolf sometimes, right?
Yeah,
you got to do what you got to do.
Exactly,
Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do.
You
But I
gotta
mean,
do what
he's like he is valid too in what he's saying to Jake, where like you can't stop for every little thing. I mean, to call two crackheads like trying to rape a young girl a little thing, like
Yeah.
I think obviously it is the right thing to do,
Mhm.
but in the in the ideology of Alonzo saying, we're here for big fish, right? Like we can't stop for every little misdemeanor that's going on in the street. And again, like maybe I'm not even saying that right, because like it is a big deal, like what was going on. But I don't know, like I can understand what he's saying, that like we don't do all these, we can't stop for everything.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
No,
I mean,
yeah.
something like that, like it was the right thing to do for Jake. And like you said, like if he didn't do that, it would have ended up very different for him later on. So
Oh yeah, 100%.
it was definitely the right thing to do for him.
And again, I think you said it right. Like I completely agree with what you're saying, and I was thinking the same thing too. Like if you just took away that thing and it was like something else, then you can understand
Mhm.
this logic. It's like, oh, we can't stop for every single thing. More so if they were actually on their way to something. Like they were like, oh, we're gonna catch Pablo Escobar. And then he's like, no, we gotta stop to save that person over there getting like their watch
Their
stolen
purse
or
stolen.
something.
Yeah.
Exactly. But they weren't going anywhere anyway. And it's like something serious is happening. So it's like,
Right.
no, we're gonna stop. Like we don't have to be, sir, we're narcotics. That has nothing to do with that. Those are crackheads. There's narcotics in their veins. So like
Yeah.
now it's us. Now let's get
Yeah,
involved. You
yeah.
know what I
Now
mean? But
we're well within our jurisdiction. But
yeah,
you're right. I
exactly.
like the way you said it. Like if you take kind of the exact situation out of it and replace it with like a purse snatching or something like that, like then yeah, that's what I'm saying. It makes sense that he's like, we can't deal with every little thing. We're after the big fish.
Yeah, no, exactly. All right, so now we get our DO double G moment where we get Snoop Dogg.
Hey.
And, and I just gotta say too, I now that we're talking about it, so I just want to bring it up that Snoop Dogg, he was busy back in 2001. I got a top 5 for you. You ready?
Okay.
Yeah, so in 2001, Snoop Dogg was in 5 movies that year. 5 movies in 2001. Obviously, number one, like one being Training Day. He was in Baby Boy. He was in Bones. He was in a movie called The Wash. And then my personal favorite is number 1. It's called Volcano High. And the reason have you ever heard of Volcano High?
No, but just based on the high in there, I'm guessing there's a lot of weed involved and Snoop
No,
Dogg.
it's even
Oh,
funnier
shit.
than that. It's even
Okay.
funnier than that. It's my favorite because it's a South Korean movie. It's a
What?
slapstick South Korean movie that was originally just in Korean, but for whatever reason, this is just from my reason. I've never even heard of this movie, just from seeing on a YouTube video. MTV made a dubbed version in English, and they had Snoop Dogg, Outkast, Method Man, Tracy Morgan, Little John, and Kelsey dub these Korean characters. So there'll literally be a Korean character in a fighting scene, and it's Snoop Dogg's voice dubbing it in English.
That's amazing.
I know.
That's
I kind of want to
amazing.
watch it now.
Oh my god, that sounds incredible. And like, what do you say, Tracy Morgan, Lil Jon? Like,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Both members out, Big Boy and Andre 3000, and
That's
Little
incredible.
John. The Little John voice sound crazy in a Korean movie.
I feel like I couldn't take. Why did this even happen? Whose idea was this?
I don't know.
Someone watched this Korean movie. Was like, you know what would bang? If I took this. Like, how did you even come up with that idea? And how did you get all these guys on board? That's
what I mean. I
That's
don't know,
amazing.
man. It really is amazing. I'm really curious. That's just like a stupid watch one time. I'm not looking for anything from above. Like I gotta maybe like watch a couple scenes if anything.
Yeah,
Maybe I don't gotta watch the whole movie, but that just
But
sounds so ridiculous.
But Snoop Dogg, this is what he does, man. He does
Oh,
not
it
turn
is.
down a check. He's like Shaq, man. Like,
yeah.
like, bro, I remember I saw like a tampon or something with Shaq.
Really?
Like Shaq endorsing it. I was like, what is this guy doing on a tampon box? Like, this guy does not turn down a check. He'll endorse anything as long as the check clear. It's Snoop Dogg, same thing. Like, this
Yeah.
guy he's in any commercial for
100%.
anything. He's in all sorts of different kind of music, or not music, but different mediums. And I feel like these guys, though, they're just like, they're so popular and famous
Oh yeah.
that like they're just doing side quests. And you know what I mean? Like, there's someone's like, hey, do you want to dub over this Korean movie? He's like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
No, you're so right. It's funny you use Shaq as an example too, because me and my dad always say that. They're like, anything
Yeah.
for a check. When you're watching sports, you see a commercial, you see these guys will put their name on anything. You go walk into Staples, like, and Shaq's on some printers in there. He's on everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Like,
what I'm saying. Like, he's
nothing
like,
to do with him.
has nothing to do with basketball or being like a big guy. Like, I get it for like, you know, if it's a like
Sports related.
big and tall clothing,
Yeah.
or something sports related, like Icy Hot. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. But like, yeah, printers. Like, what the hell does Shaq have to do? Oh, Shaq owns that printer. I need that. Yeah, I need that.
I don't know. It just works, I guess. It just works. But anyway, back into the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Jake tries to buy crack from a wheelchair Snoop Dogg because Snoop's in a wheelchair. But Jake his acting skills are terrible. So what are you trying to get? Crack. He's like, all right. It's like, get out, let me get the hell out of here. So then Snoop starts running away. And Jake actually gets dropped by Snoop Dogg as he's chasing him, which I don't know how. I know you're a rookie, dog, but still, you took on 2 crackheads and you can't handle Snoop in a wheelchair as he
That's
goes into a
true.
hair supply store.
Yeah, and he pushes him away. And he's getting further and further away from him. But you're right, crackheads are already like superheroes. So how did you beat up two of those, but you can't take on Snoop Dogg, who's like 100 pounds soaking wet in a wheelchair? I guess he was just being nice, you know.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. Because he feels bad because the guy.
Yeah, like because he even looks at Alonzo too. Like they pull up, right? He's like, "Oh, I want some crack," and he's like, "No." So he turns around and starts wheeling away, and Alonzo's like,
"Say
go get him," and he's like, "Seriously?" Yeah. So I think he's being nice to him, but
yeah,
it's funny still.
To his detriment, yo. Just because he's in a wheelchair doesn't mean he can't beat your ass, man. Apparently,
or have a gun.
Yeah, no, that's true. I didn't even notice too. I don't know if you realize I was on the second viewing. Like when Snoop actually gets in there, do you see him when he puts the crack in his mouth? I didn't even realize he did it. It's like very slight. It's just like you see him like pop his head back. I didn't know what he was doing the first time, and I was like, oh, he's actually putting his mouth. Because
this is easier for me because I've seen the movie.
Oh, yeah,
so
I guess that's true.
It's easier to notice things like that because I already know the story, right? Yeah. So I'm not trying to like just process what's happening in the plot. So like little things like that, like I don't know if I noticed that the first time I watched. Like I said, it was years ago, but yeah, you just quickly pops it in his mouth, and you're like, oh shit, okay, I see what he did. Yeah,
I'm curious. There's another little thing I noticed in the movie too. When it comes up, I'll ask you if it because I'm curious to know if you noticed it because I didn't notice it at first until I was scrubbing back a second time. But anyway, they get him in a room and he keeps asking him. He's like, where's the rock? Where's the rocks? And then he's saying, I don't have any. I don't have any drugs or anything. So Alonzo takes a pen and just like jabs him in the mouth, and he just ends up puking it out. And he's just like, he's like, all right, what's that? He's like, motherfucking crack. Out of the delivery of just like him puking. Oh god damn.
He drops so many F-bombs in this, man.
I know
he's like,
does.
No, stop. Why you fucking with my fucking crack, man? Like fucking fuck, dude. Know. Like I'm not ain't no fucking Stitch. I'm not gonna fuck it. Like come on.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
That's his whole character is like, yeah, you're just a potty mouth wheelchair drug dealer. I wonder what his credit was in the credits. I didn't look.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I don't
probably
know.
Just drug dealer or something.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm just calling him Snoop. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Does he even have a name in the movie?
Maybe, but they probably call him Wheels just because it's the time. I wouldn't be surprised if they called him Wheels.
He should have had like some streamers on his bike or something, or a little flag coming off of it, or not bike, his wheelchair.
Yeah,
Wheels, the crack man.
So they do eventually get a name out of him, and he says that he says Sandman. So he's like, because the Alonzo threatens, hey, you got a gun and you got crack. I could get you locked up for years. He keeps putting the bullets out. It's like 10 years, 20 years, 40 years. He's like, all right, I'll give you the name Sandman. So they go with that, and they head to the hood to check a house, and they get into the house, and it's like some auntie and like her nephew. And Alonzo just starts like going through the house trying to find something, and he finds some money, and then they leave and they hand her the fake warrant because they originally get in there saying that they have a warrant, but it's really just like a takeout menu.
Yeah.
And then she starts cussing them out and then accuses them of stealing and starts screaming to the guys in the hood like, yo, start shooting at them, and then they start firing away at them, which I was like, wow, because I was like, do these guys not know Alonzo? They don't know he's a cop. They're just popping off like that.
I don't think they do. Well,
why did they let him in the first place, though?
Well, Jake comes in and he puts on that police jacket.
Oh yeah, I guess so. No, true.
Yeah, they must know he's a cop. But I don't know. They're gang members, bro. They don't care. They're just like,
I guess, but some of them have respect on them. I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. But what I found funny in this scene is that like when Alonzo's going through the house, looking for money, because he's basically stealing from this woman, right?
Yeah.
From Sandman. So Jake is in the living room. He's got the auntie and her nephew on the couch, and he's just like controlling them. And he tries to dap the kid.
Oh yeah,
like he gives him a fist. It's like, why would he dap me?
Yeah,
like he's like, this is the most like white cop like trying to be cool thing ever. Like he already folded with Snoop saying, "What do you want? Crack." And now he's trying to dap this kid. Like, why would he do that?
I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know why. He's just trying to be cool in the moment. He's like, I don't know. I'm so out of my element. Like, here we go.
But you're a cop.
Yeah.
Like this isn't you're not my friend. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not here just to die. Like, why would I do that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird.
And you also know, like you said, you're in the hood of Los Angeles. You know they don't like cops there.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just do your job and get the hell out of there.
And get the
Don't
heck
try
out
to
of
be a
there.
cool uncle with the kid. Like, come on, man.
No, it's so true. And then they move there and go from one hood to the next. And they like Alonzo calls it the jungle. Well, they both call it the jungle. Was this supposed to be Compton? Is that what they were like alluding to? Like, what area was it supposed to be?
No,
or is it supposed to be?
No, it's an actual like street. Well, it might be in the area of Compton. I don't actually think so, because I was looking, and one of my facts was that they were actually shooting on site.
Okay.
And the name Compton wasn't there. There was like Rothwell Heights, and there was all these names of areas.
Mhm.
But no, I don't think it was Compton. But I do want to say something real quick.
Yeah.
When they were on their way from like stealing that money from Sandman and going to the Bloods area.
Yeah.
Because when in Sandman's they all had the blue bandana, so that was the Crips area.
Yeah.
Then they're heading to the Bloods.
Oh, sure. I didn't even notice that. That's a good.
But
one.
like in between, Alonzo tells him to pull over, and they pull over on the highway, and he gives him another speech saying, "Oh, you gotta. This is what it is. It's necessary. Like, because Jake's telling him like it's not okay. All this stuff you're doing, you can't do that." He's like, "This is what it takes, man. You got to be a wolf." And then he looks over on the other side of the highway. There's a cop like helping this lady like fix a flat tire or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, it almost got my lazy award. And I hope I'm not stepping on yours, but it almost got my lazy award, because I was like, they really plugged that in there just so he could make his point. Because he's like, all right, if you don't want to do this, then there you go. Go and help her with her tire. I was like, seriously? Like, right across the highway, there's a cop helping this woman with a flat tire. Like, yeah, come on.
That's a good point. I like the whole like the little thing that they did too. I didn't mention it earlier with their whole like the wolves thing. He's like, you a wolf, you a wolf, and they start howling. Like, that part was kind of funny. It's like, you a wolf or a sheep? And then he's like, no, that sounds like a rooster. Are you a wolf?
Well, I mean, that's what it was cool, like seeing kind of a like Jake open up to Alonzo. Like early on in this movie, Alonzo's very charming and he's very persuasive. Like he gets I almost said Ethan because Ethan Hawke, but he gets Jake to, like we said, gets him to smoke, gets him to drink, gets him to do all these things that he doesn't want to do. He gets him to bark like a wolf or howl like a wolf. Like he's, they're kind of forming a bond. What it seems to be like a bond early on in the movie. But I mean, we learn later that Alonzo's just playing him, but it's cool to see early on that Jake's at least opening up to him, and something like that, the howling is a good way that they show that.
Yeah, because again, like this is my first time watching, which I knew about the whole King Kong scene, but I didn't know about like what happened with their relationship. So the whole time I was watching, I'm like, okay, I don't know where their relationship's gonna lead. So I was still up in the air of like, okay, what's going on with these two guys? Well, let's see as the movie transpires. But one thing I do gotta point out too, like as we're heading back into they're heading into the jungle. I feel like it was a really good display of like the sense of danger. I feel like every time they were in like a hood, you felt very uncomfortable for the character. It wasn't like you're in the hood and they kind of just like kind of looked like they always had like guys that's just present. You don't look like they're ready to pop off. Like everybody looked like everyone's like just staring at them, and just like they did not like no one was like looked friendly at all. Like everyone looked like they're ready to go.
No, you're right. They did do that well. It's a good point that you make, because like every time they go into either the Bloods or the Crips neighborhood, they show the car like turning around a corner and you see like a gang posted around the corner, or you see, like you say, everyone pull up and stare at them on the street. Some of them are flashing guns, all this stuff. So, but you're right. They show that really well, that they're in danger and you shouldn't be comfortable as a viewer.
Yeah, because they easily could have just done like scenes like where they just had them like get into the area and then just get to the destination. And just like, he could have been like, yo, you gotta be safe, and then just be in their destination. Every time they went to a place, they always made them like literally like almost go like chest to chest with these guys basically, and be like make them feel uncomfortable and just like really go through each part of it. It wasn't like, all right, we gotta be careful out here. Like they showed you that you have to be careful out here, because look at all these dudes. They're like vultures waiting.
And I think that was really good too, because when they are in that situation, like you said, they make us know that they should be careful because it's dangerous. But then you see Alonzo like get out of the car and he's strolling like he's walking down the middle of a field on a summer day. Like he's totally comfortable, right? So we're like, okay, so we understand about him. We're like, okay, he's comfortable in this situation. Like he knows these people and he, you know, they're fine with him being here. Like he has connections in this area. So it's just more, I think, another good way of showing his character or telling us something about his character without telling us. And yeah, that was really well done. Good point.
Oh, thank you. I gotta point out that I have two more comparisons in this movie of where I call characters based off who I think they look like. And here's one coming up right now. Lonzo says what's up to Kobe on his way to meet his girl. I thought that dude kind of looked like Kobe.
Okay, yeah, I can see.
I can kind of see the little Kobe resemblance there. So I'm gonna call that dude Kobe. And we get to meet Lonzo's girl, which I assume it's not his wife because he says it's one of his lovelies, so it's just one of his side chicks. Now, one thing I gotta say, like, it was played by Eva Mendes, who I feel like in the 2000s, if you wanted a character to have like a good looking Latino wife, it was either her or Salma Hayek. It was always, I swear, they were always the Latina wives in the movies.
Or Sofia Vergara.
Yeah, no, that's another one.
Like
she's a little bit later though. She's like, I think she's more tens.
No.
What else was she in? What was she in?
You ever seen Four Brothers with Mark Wahlberg, Tyrese?
Is that
Andre 3000? She's Tyrese's girl.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
But like the hothead Latino woman, that's you're right. There's always
they just
always
cycle
a side
through.
chick too. Like poor
true.
them, man. They never get booed up. Damn.
In Grown Ups, what's it called? Salma Hayek does in Grown Ups.
Yeah, you're right. There. She's booed up. Different kind of movie though. That's not.
That is a different. It's very different.
You know, it's not Adam Sandler with guns on each shoulder, slinging dope, howling like a wolf. Oh.
That is true. On another note, though, I got to give a shout out to my younger brother Dre, though, because for anybody that doesn't know, he played that light skin in that scene.
He does look a lot like
when I saw him, I was like, and the thing is too, when she brings Jake food and says it's like El Salvadorian food, I'm like, yo, that's literally my brother.
That's facts.
It's El Salvadorian.
I didn't even realize that. Yeah,
El Salvador. I was like, that's literally Dre. I was literally my brother is in this movie. I'm gonna put a side by side if anyone wants to watch a YouTube video. My dad's gonna be watching this. He's gonna be like, "Oh shit, I didn't even think about that." That's Dre, Dad.
Has Dre seen the movie?
I don't know. The movie literally came out the year Dre was born in 2001.
Okay.
So
did he ever have that little like rat tail?
No, we didn't have that nasty little rat. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. That was
what culture is that from? That a black half Latino kid would have a rat tail?
It must be from the El Salvador because I know it's not from the black culture.
I guess I don't know nothing about that, but
okay.
But the funny thing is, Lonzo really just stopped there to get cheeks, and like they were there for how long were they there for? Because Jake fell asleep. I don't know if they just did the drugs or how much time passed. Like an hour? Did he fall asleep in like 10 minutes?
Yeah, I don't think it was. It must have been a little bit of time. I don't think it was like, all day because like we said, when they arrive and when they leave, it's not like the sun's really
that's true.
Move very much. So I don't think it's super long, but it's long enough for him to fall asleep, like you said.
No, that's true.
I guess it was the itis, man. He ate the food, he got knocked out. It was probably some good ass food.
Yeah, everything. The beer, the dust, the food, everything.
I think it was itis. That's probably what it was.
Oh, that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
So then we get they end up leaving again, and now they're meeting with LAPD's finest. So we get him meeting up with what did they call them? The three wise men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, did you want to say anything in the scene specifically?
This is I thought the scene was really interesting because, like we've talked about already, we see Alonzo all the way leading up to this movie, how he's in charge and he's in control of everything and he can do whatever he wants. And then when he's in this meeting with these three high ups, he's not in charge. They're telling him what to do and they're kind of like cracking jokes and he's laughing along but like not really understanding them, like he's trying to act like he can he belongs, but so it's the first time that we really see him not be the head dog.
Yeah,
and
no,
I
it's
thought it
true.
was cool for his character to see him in that situation, and also this is how we learn where the movie's headed, right? Because we're like,
Yeah.
okay, he stole the money from Sandman, gave it to these guys, so he's got a warrant, and he's gonna go get a bunch of money so he can pay off these Russians. Because
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know yet why he's got to pay off these Russians, but
Yeah, we just
they said,
heard that
oh,
he
he had
is.
an expensive weekend in Las Vegas, and
Yeah.
so we know some shit's about to go down, and we know kind of where he's headed next. But I thought this was a cool scene for his character and just for driving the plot forward in both those senses.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's a very good point too, because you're right. Because like the whole movie, he's just like walking around chest out. And this is the first time he's like he's sitting there. He's basically like he didn't say it without he said did it without saying it. Where he's like, "Can I sit here? Can I have some?" Like he's like, "Hey," like and he's hyping them up to Jake. Like this guy is great. This is a great guy. This is a great guy. You know what I mean? He's not doing that throughout the rest of the movie. He's not hyping anybody else up. He's just like doing his own thing. So yeah, it is interesting because yeah, we do get what's going on, what's leading to later.
Mhm.
And after that, they leave and we meet up. He's showing him the A team, like his team that he's got, his other crooked cops. And this is when we meet
gang.
Dr. Dre. We get another rapper in here.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's part of the team, but he wants nothing to do with Jake. I mean, most of them do, because just like who is this new guy? You know, we're clearly about to do something illegal, and I don't know if we can trust this guy because none of us know who the heck he is.
Right.
And they're going to make a bust at the house that they're going to make a bust, and then they get to the house and it's Roger's house. So the guy that they met earlier when they get to go to get drinks, and he doesn't know at first that Alonzo was there, because he's telling him, he's like, yo, you know what you're doing, kid? Like Alonzo's not gonna have it. And then Alonzo comes in the room and he's like, hey, sorry man, it's just the way it's gonna be.
Just business.
It's just business. And they break through the ground of his kitchen, and they get $3 million, which is actually $4 million. But Alonzo's like, we're gonna split this $1 million. But Jake again wants nothing to do with it. He's not feeling everything. Like sometimes they're on board, but then he's like, at this point he's like, nah, the only checks I accept are from the LAPD. And Alonzo tells him to shoot Roger, and like they're joking around. He's like, all right, because earlier they do like a thing where they're like pretending to shoot. They go bang, and he's just like, yeah, bang. And he's like, no, like give me the gun. You know, if you want to do something, you gotta do it yourself. Then he actually shoots Roger in the chest, and he just tells him.
Did you think that was gonna happen? Like this was your first watch?
This
right?
is my first time. Yeah. So
yeah.
Honestly, I didn't like, because I didn't think Jake was gonna shoot him. I thought Jake was gonna shoot him, but then when he's like, you want to do it yourself, and I was like, oh damn, is he really gonna shoot him? And then when he shot him, I wasn't like completely shocked, but I was still shocked, because I was like, maybe they're gonna work something out. Like he's gonna put the gun on and be like, yo, Alonzo, let's do that. Like I can get you more money. Like I didn't know if something that he was gonna plead. He didn't give him a time to plead. He just got up and just popped him, and I was like, damn.
Well, did you think they were boys still, or like, because early on, like when they first go to Roger's house, yeah, they seem like they have a good relationship, right? They're laughing, they're cracking jokes, they're drinking together, and all this. And then we learn like Alonzo's like, nah, see, you thought we were boys because you saw us interact one time. I was playing him the whole time. And
yeah.
So, but so I remember my first watch, I was like, yeah, is he about to shoot him? But you're right, like it's not like, oh my god, he shot him. Like we already know he's an asshole, and he's doing all this crazy stuff. But and then Jake gets the upper hand, and all this craziness ensues.
Because Jeff, because then Jeff takes 2 shots, so they get their story straight. So they say, okay, we came in, Jeff got shot twice, and then Jake came in and he popped him, and everyone's like, yep, that's the story. And Jake doesn't like that plan, but Lonzo's like, all right, no, this is the plan. And he puts a shotgun to his head, and he starts just like listing. He just starts saying like a news story as if Jake was dead. He's like, that's gonna be you if you don't stay on top. And then Jake flips it, like you said, and he points the gun at him. And and Alonzo loves it. He's like, damn, that's my guy. Like he's all hyped about him. Like there's like still fire in him. But
and this is when Dr. Dre's dropping some bars too. Like when they first meet out on that like rooftop or whatever it is, which is first of all such a badass cliche. Bad guy, movie cliche to meet on a helipad on a rooftop. Why are they meeting there? But I don't know, it's funny. But like as soon as he meets Jay, he's like, hey man, you a long way from Starbucks.
Yeah,
like what? And then Like he just met the guy. No one else on the team is
Yeah.
beefing him, and this guy's just like, "Nah, fuck you. I don't trust this guy." And then when Jake has the gun on Alonzo, he's like, "Nah, man." He's got the gun to Jake's head, and Alonso's like, "No, put your guns down, put your guns down." He's like, "No, choir boy first." Like he's got all these little
Yeah.
bars just coming at Jake, who didn't do anything
They didn't
to
do
him,
anything. Just
but
existed.
he's so hostile to him instantly.
Yeah. I don't know. He's got. Yeah, I don't know. He just doesn't like his. I mean, to his point, he does have a point though. He can sense that Jake's not on board. I don't think you should have to pop him immediately, but you can tell that like, no, this guy, I can tell his vibe. He's not like us, and he's not. He is right.
Fair enough. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, but I thought this was really interesting too because Alonzo flips because at first he's kind of smiling, and then we find out that he's like, that hey, no, if you keep acting up, I'm gonna get your blood tested. And he admits that he's been planning this all week. He's like, we've been planning this all days. I've been planning this all week. So it's like, oh damn. So like he's got that. He's like, if you don't want to be a part of this, like we're all veterans here. You're the rookie. Who do you think they're gonna believe? And he's like, you better go on the same page because these cops about to be here in 10 seconds. And then the cops get there and Jake's like, all right, whatever. And
he lets it go, and then but right before he leaves, hey Paul, which is Dr. Dre character, punches him in the face as he walks out. I was like, you were right for this. Like Paul's been a dick to you the whole time, and you haven't done a damn thing. Like, good job, Jake.
No, I didn't think he was gonna do that too, but it was well deserved because the dude was like, he's like, yeah, we're cool, but I just heard you were screaming in my ear saying you wanted to kill me. So yeah,
exactly.
Let me pop you right quick. I know you're not gonna hit me back because Alonzo's not gonna allow another fight to happen.
Yeah,
but then we go forward, and they're back in the car now, and Jake gives some pushback, saying like, man, it can't be all like this, and he's like, hey, Alonzo tells me you gotta have a little dirt on people. You gotta have a little dirt on you for people to trust you, and like, they kind of have like their moment, and like where like everything finally like he drops the machismo and everything. He's like, no, like Roger. And then there's a part where I was like, oh, there's some kind of redemption here because he's like, he tells him, he's like you said, like you think we're friends just because he knows my first name? Like I was playing him the whole time. He's like that guy used to sell crack to kids, and it's like, oh shit, like. Now you don't feel bad. Necessarily don't feel bad for Roger anymore. He's like, no, that guy was one of the biggest players like in this whole thing. And I was like, oh shit, like, okay, he kind of has a point. Because at first you're like, was that your boy? And then you just did him dirty because like now you need something from him. But like, okay, maybe you actually was never your boy. Again, maybe he's lying. Maybe they were kind of boys to a certain extent. But he can just distinguish business from so far from. He's like, I don't really like him that much.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of both. But this is what I'm talking about. Like a prequel could be good. Like seeing how him and Roger like build that relationship.
That's true.
I could see how it would work.
Yeah, no,
there's actually a story there that they could work on, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of times prequel TV shows just aren't done well. So I'm not gonna say I have high hopes for it, but
we'll see.
Like there's a possibility for it to be good.
I'd watch the first episode, and if it's a movie, it probably end up being a streaming or something. Maybe I'll give it a try. If I'm bored one day or something like that. But we'll see.
It's okay. You can just say miss me with that. That's okay.
But this is the thing I was talking about. Did you notice the thing he said on the phone when he was in the car, like Alonzo? It was like right before he got into the car because like everything happened, like the cops pulled up and you see just Jake steaming and Alonzo on the phone and he says something. You don't hear majority of the conversation. He says the one thing, clicks the phone, and they get in the car, then have the whole conversation where you got a little. Did you hear what he said?
I don't remember it off the top of my head.
This is the thing that I caught that I was like, oh, it makes sense now knowing because he was like when he was on the phone, he's like, just make sure that bathtub is clean, homie.
Right.
And then clicks. Did you notice?
Okay, yes.
You did notice that he said that?
I do remember it. Yeah.
I didn't notice that at first. It wasn't until like
you don't know what the bathtub is.
Yeah, exactly. So even when I heard him say that, I was like, is he just talking to like his girl or something? Like I had no idea what that reference was, and I was like, oh, okay. Now it makes sense why he said.
I do have a question though when we get there.
Okay. Oh, like at that scene?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're getting there now because like they make their way over to another hood. It's a Latin hood, and again, like I said, it's another good display of danger, displaying the danger as they're going. Even the dude checks him right away. He's like, "Yo, where you think you're from? Where you think you are, homie?" And Alonzo just smiles and just keeps walking. He doesn't even pay that dude no mind.
He's holding a blender, like, man, I got a gift for. What do you mean? I got a nice blender
for Smiley.
Yeah, for Smiley. Come on, man.
The one thing that did kill me is that again, everyone's act just mean mugging and everything, but the one thing is even like the girls mean mugging, like as they're dancing, like they're mean. There's even one girl that's just like she's like bopping and she looks angry. Like that shit looks so stupid. That shit looks so stupid.
I noticed that too. I was like, why is she still dancing? Like everyone is grilling them and like flashing muscle, and this girl's just like still dancing the whole time, just like going back and forth. And like, why is she doing this? Maybe she's drunk and high and she's just vibing, but like the grill on the face, coupled with the bopping, it's just funny.
That killed me. I was immediately I rewind. I was like, yo, she's still. I was like, what is she doing? And just little.
It's just her too, because like when they first pull up, there's multiple girls. They're all getting
not
down,
mean mugging. They're just dancing.
and then as they walk up the stairs, she's the only one still dancing. Like the other ones are they're reading the room. Like they're like, okay, no, we gotta flex with all these guys, and all the guys are out here, flexing muscle.
God.
This girl doesn't give a fuck. She's just like still getting jiggy. She's just having a good time, man.
Yeah, no, I had to mention that because that killed me when I saw that.
Yeah, it was funny.
But so yeah, they get into the kitchen, and Alonzo gives his gift to Smiley, which ends up just being cash. And did you realize the guy that was playing like Sniper, like one of the guys at the table, the guy that was shirtless? You recognized him?
Yeah, from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, and he's in Better Call Saul too.
Okay,
I mean, same thing,
but you know, I literally have it written down. Like Sniper is Tuco.
Oh,
like Tuco for Breaking Bad, like
100%.
just a freaking psycho, like my shit, like he's just like
Exactly.
crazy, like just like Tuco in
100%
in Breaking Bad. Like he's slinging dope, but he'll try it and he's like, oh, that's some good shit. Like he's going psycho, and he's the exact same character in both. It's amazing.
I wonder if I just gotta bounce around and see if he's like that in everything he's in. Like, just you're gonna be the spazzy Latino guy,
crazy guy.
Oh my god, I was thinking the exact same thing too. I was like, this is the exact same character.
Yeah,
I was like, did
100%.
they name him the same thing too? Like,
They should have.
oh man,
That's probably what Tuco
was based off of
early on.
100%. He's like, oh, I think you probably, and this is a big movie. So, and then Breaking Bad came out later. They're like, oh, do what you did in Training Day and just do that, dude. Yeah, that's probably.
You remember Sniper? Yeah, it'd be that.
Yeah, 100%. That's your
It's
source
crazy because
material.
they're talking about like getting anally raped
Yeah,
too.
I
He's like,
know.
you ever got your shit pushed in? Oh, I got my shit pushed in. And he's like so hyped about it. It's like, dude, why
Yeah,
are you so happy
Yeah,
about it? That's fucking crazy.
but I really like this scene because like they're messing around with him, like ask him to see his gun and everything, and Smiley's like like he tells that's when we finally find about the Russians, because they're like, yo, Alonzo's a hothead. He beat up a Russian guy like in Vegas, and now he owes him like $1 million before midnight or else he dies. But yeah, there's the whole time like they're playing with him, like, yo, play cards with us, whatever. Like, let me see your gun, whatever. It's like, how long you been a pig? Like they're just playing around with him. And then Jake realizes, he kind of reads the room, because then he realizes that Lonzo left, and he just like he flips the table and then hits Smiley. But I was like, what was his plan? Yeah, like
As soon as he flipped the table, like run, dude.
Yeah, my thing is he flipped, and then it's like he wanted to take them 3-on-1 suddenly. Like he wanted to keep fighting. Like why didn't he just run?
I don't know. Maybe he was like,
He's still drugged
because he
up.
probably assumes he's like, I'm gonna die,
Yeah,
right?
maybe.
Like he's like, maybe I can take one of these guys with me. I don't know, but I'm curious, like, to ask you, like, because this was your first time watching
Yeah.
again. Were you like, did you think Alonzo was setting him up? Like, because
No.
he shows up and then he's like, oh, I'm just gonna go see someone upstairs.
Yeah, I didn't think he was setting him up. I thought this was just like another intense scene, and then we were gonna like learn something, and they were gonna move on or something. They were gonna get money from them and move on. So like, as long as it was taking longer and longer, I was thinking, oh,
Right.
did something happen here? And then I realized it was like, oh, he ditched him, and I was like, my whole thought was like, how the hell is he gonna get out of this?
That's
And he-
yeah. That was literally gonna be my next question, because I remember my first viewing, I was like, how the hell does he survive this? I was like, there's no way. Like, he doesn't have his gun. There's 100 people outside.
Yeah,
Like, how, like, me having seen the movie, I knew, but I
Yeah.
was like, for you on your first watch, like the suspense is crazy. You're like, he has to die here. There's no way he wins this.
Yeah, no way. And then again, he tries to fight them, gets his ass beat, and they throw him in the tub, getting ready to kill him. But then they notice that they find the wallet of the girl that he saved earlier from Lil Uzi, and out
It's
of
kinda
context,
whack.
everyone's like, "What? You
This
think
guy-
you didn't
this-
like that?"
Well, I mean, like he's like, because they're about to shoot him, and he's like, "Hold on, let me get his money." You could have done that after he was
Yeah, I
dead. Like, why
know.
did you have
Yeah,
to do
I
that
know.
before you shot him? Like, if
Yeah,
it was
the
really like
sequence
they
of it,
shoot
yeah.
him, then go in his pocket, get the wallet. But he's like, no, hold on. I have to get his money first. Why?
Yeah, I know.
So but
It would have made more sense if it just fell out of his pocket and they went to pick
Yeah,
it up. And he
you're
was
right.
like, look at this guy. He has a pink ass wallet. And then like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah, that would have been better. You're right.
Yeah, versus just like, let me just, because my thing was like, I was trying to give benefit of I wish I do this sometimes if I like it, a scene or so I like a movie. But I do see your point where it's just like, oh, maybe it'd been so messy. You shoot him with first of all, shoot him with a shotgun in the head. It's gonna be massive, like kick. It's gonna be such a huge
Right.
mess. So
Well,
maybe
that's
it's like,
why
oh,
they
let
at
me
least
just
they closed the curtains.
yeah, but they
like,
wanted to
the
see. They all
bathtub.
their heads like popped in. They were gonna get like all just in their face. Probably that shit was gonna pop right
Yeah.
back at them.
True.
I feel like they could have done something a lot cleaner than that, than what they were planning on doing, and it's a lot quieter maybe than a shotgun.
Yeah, it didn't have to
But
be a shotgun. Could have been just a
it didn't
little
have
pistol.
to be a shotgun. That's what I mean. Like they had guns on them too.
Yeah. True.
But hey, but yeah. Anyway, they find the wallet. Smiley calls this because he tells him the story about, oh, I saved her. He calls to reassure with her, and she's like, yeah, that actually did. Like this white boy cop saved me. He looks young, and then he's like, all right, we'll let you go. And so they let him go, and Jake's fuming now. We see him. He's on the bus. And we assume he's heading towards Lonzo because he's just assuming where Lonzo went back to the crib with his side piece. So he makes his way through the jungle, which is he's brave because he's not with Lonzo anymore.
Yeah.
He's that
It's
pissed
pretty-
that he's gonna walk through.
It's pretty badass. It's pretty
Yeah.
bad. Like him walking, like stone cold look on his face, and he's bloody from like the fight with the Latino gang. He's just got his gun in his hand. Everyone, like the guys are peeking over the rooftops or somewhere on the street, and they're whispering to him like, "Hey man, you don't belong here. You know this,
Yeah.
blah blah blah." But before we keep going, I have that question that I had for you at the
Okay.
top.
Yeah.
How in Alonzo's plan does this work? Because this is right after they steal the money from Roger, right? So they steal the
Okay.
money from Roger,
Yeah.
and then they call it in and they have their story. So all the cops are there. They're saying they seized the money. So there's a whole
Yeah.
bunch of cops there. They
Yeah.
all saw Jake get in the car with Alonzo and drive off. If he then dies, wouldn't they be like, last time we saw him, he left with you. How did he end up dead?
Yeah.
You know what I
that's
mean? Like,
true.
how would he just get away with that? Like,
No, that's a good point. Maybe he had a plan. I mean, I'm glad they didn't do the whole like evil villain thing where he's like, when you confront him, like my whole plan was gonna be this and da-da-da. Like I'm glad they didn't do that, but maybe he
Yeah.
had a plan. You're right though; it doesn't make any sense. I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, because when he was doing, I was like, oh snap, he's gonna kill him. But then I was thinking, I was like, well, yeah, what is the plan there? Yeah, you
Like,
do
they
make
would
a good
know.
point. Yeah. what is the plan there? I don't know. Is he
like
that?
maybe
Yeah.
he would be like, okay, we went into a confrontation with this Latin gang and Jake didn't make it out, but I did. Like,
Yeah.
maybe there would be something like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? That's a good point though. I was at that point I was just so locked in that I wasn't even thinking about like what was
Yeah.
Lonzo's plan. But again, like you're just watching a second viewing, so then you're
Right.
thinking like you're layered thinking.
Exactly.
So I didn't even think about that, to be honest. That is a good point. I don't know what his plan was.
Yeah.
But
Jake's out for revenge now.
Jake's out for revenge. He sees Terry Crews and all jacked up.
I can't be intimidated by Terry Crews. Like
He's doing too much.
I've seen him too many times in like comedies, like being ridiculous and like
Yeah.
he's huge and yoked, but like it's just the butt of so many jokes and so many other different things. And he's not intimidating to me just because I
No.
know. I was about to say I know him personally. I don't, but like,
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, like I don't know. I just can't find him intimidating.
To me, that's like I think that's like me with John Cena, because I remember like I watched Fast 9 and he's not like a tough guy, but he's like this serious like brooding guy, and I was kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah. pride, hustle,
'Cause it's like,
respect
he's
on his
huge.
t-shirt.
That's what I mean. Like, the scene is huge and everything, but at the same time, it's just like I've seen him be goofy for so long.
Yeah.
Again, we just have our things. Maybe someone's never seen what Terry Crews has done, especially like you see him in Brooklyn Nine-Nine or something like that. It's just like
Exactly.
he's done too much nonsense.
Or like white chicks, like he's just like he's
Oh,
so
yeah.
ridiculous in that movie.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Like, how can I be intimidated from a guy that's
In his defense,
I
though,
need you.
in his defense, all those things we're talking about were after this movie.
Oh,
So at
yeah.
the time, he still could
That's
have been
true, yeah.
menacing. Like
You're
he
right.
was in, yeah, it was like you said, White Chicks, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I watched Balls of Fury, and there's even The Longest Yard. He's in all
Yeah,
those
yeah,
movies
yeah.
being goofy, and all those are after this movie. So in his
Yeah,
defense,
that's a
he
good
still
point.
could have been intimidating. It's just going back now after
You're
seeing
right.
the other work.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I
like,
saw those things before this. Maybe not Brooklyn
Yeah.
Nine-Nine, but like most of those
Yeah.
things. So, but you're right. Like upon release, yeah, you'd be like, damn, that's a huge
Yeah.
ass black dude. That's
Yeah.
intimidating as hell. Now looking forward, you're like, man, that's Terry Crews, dude.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Yeah, I'm waiting for him to make a joke or something.
He's the freaking host of America's Got Talent, man.
Yeah,
he's not
exactly.
doing anything in the hood. Come on now.
Next, I have Nick Cannon in there acting tough.
Exactly. It's like, come on, bro.
But anyway, after that, and then yeah, I even made a note of like we noticed that Dre's got a nasty rat tail, and he lets Jake into the house, and he tries to. It's funny because Alonzo tries to play it off like he's not shocked when he's like, "Oh, you passed the test." I'm like, "Bitch, nah, you're
Yeah,
really thinking
exactly,
shit.
yeah.
You're alive." He's like, "Passed the test." Jake's not even like taking it for a second. He's like, "There was no test. You tried to kill me."
Yeah, exactly. If he didn't have the wallet, he'd be dead. Like, what test? What do you even mean, bro?
That's what you mean. He's gonna be like, "No, I knew those guys knew that girl. That's why I let you in there. I just wanted to see
Yeah,
if." Oh yeah, of course, of course. All right, let's keep moving now. Let's get that money to the Russians. You imagine a movie ended like that? Yeah, happy ever after. So, but Jake, yeah, Jake wasn't having it. So he points his gun at Alonzo, and he's like, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And he's like, again, who's they gonna believe? It's gonna be me or it's gonna be you. You're the new guy. And but it's always like he still plays along because he's like, he knows like you're not gonna shoot me, like nothing's gonna happen. So he gives him his guns, but then he flicks his cigarette ash in his face, and then he pulls like a James Bond where he like drops to the ground, and suddenly there's a gun that's just attached to the bottom of the bed and just shoots at him.
Yeah, you're right. That was some James Bond crazy shit. That was sick.
Why
though.
does he have that set up?
What do you mean? For exactly this situation, bro.
Okay, I guess. I thought
He's
he was
a
cool
crooked
in the
cop,
hood.
man.
I thought he was cool in the hood. What is he worried about?
Nah, those motherfuckers don't like him. Come on, man.
I guess. But yeah, they have the little shootout. Jay grabs his son and to like, well, no, his son gets in the way, and then Jake just like grabs him, tries to, but then Zoe makes his way out through the window. You think Zoe ever cared about that family?
Hell no.
No,
Nah,
yeah, just
I
the
don't
whole way
think so.
he interacted in that whole last scene was like,
Yeah.
he didn't seem like he cared about her. He didn't really seem like the kid, kind of, but at the same time, he's more worried about. I mean, he's more worried about like surviving because he's got to pay the Russians, I guess.
Yeah, I think if it came down to either him or the kid, like he would have popped that kid. I think so. I mean, he doesn't shoot him right there because he didn't have to. But like, say Jake had him and was holding the kid in front of him like a human shield kind of thing, I feel like he would have just shot right through him.
No, it's true. But so yeah, and then we get Jake who chases Alonzo, and Alonzo gets the best one, beats his ass, and then basically leaves him for dead on top of a roof. Which I don't know, I don't hate it because it's like I don't think there's a reason for him to kill him because maybe he still thinks he can turn him around. But
I thought he should have killed him.
You thought he should have killed him?
Yeah, I mean, like you already, like we said, you already tried to have him killed.
Yeah,
he's
that's
coming
true.
back for revenge. He knows all of this crooked shit that you're up to, so that's why you're trying to kill him, right? So you don't get caught.
Yeah.
Why would you leave him there?
Yeah, no, that's true.
And
Did I
Jake
get-
had a gun. Like there's a gun
Yeah.
right there.
No, you're good. This is a good point. I was just thinking, I was like, then it's sloppy because it's like, how do I explain this one if I just kill him on top
Yeah,
of a
true.
roof here?
Yeah, maybe it was that.
So I was like, maybe I'll come back from later and kill him in a different way or something, and more it's like a less sloppy way. His blood, yeah, but I don't know. But
Yeah,
it was kind of just
maybe.
like a quick thing where it's just like he threw him like, all right, well, he's gonna come back, and so he tries to get away, and Jake just jumps off the roof onto his car to stop him. And I'll have to say that now this was a scene written by a guy that wrote a Fast and Furious movie. To jump onto a car to stop,
And he's
someone.
totally fine.
Yeah, exactly.
What's crazy too is like he's on the car and like Alonso's driving around in circles trying to get him off the car, and they hit a car. Jake flies off of Alonso's into another one, and Alonso's the one that like gets out all bloody and battered, and Jake is fine. Like, what? He was in the car. He could have had a seatbelt on. How did Alonso take more damage than Jake? That doesn't even make any sense.
Cause sure, you got a couple punches to his face, but come on, like, yeah, dude, you jumped off a roof
After getting your shit
ass
pushed
whooped.
in. After getting your shit pushed in. And then you jump off a roof onto a whip and you're better off than Alonso?
Yeah,
What sense does that make?
It makes no sense. But yeah, he gets the upper hand to him, so he's holding his money, and they have a little face to face, and Alonso's trying to tell him, he's like, you're not gonna shoot me because like he knows like you're not gonna shoot me. Like I don't think you have it in you. It's like you're not built like that. And he tells him that he tells everyone on the street that like he'll make them a rich man if you shoot Jake, but none of them do it. But then we get Kobe who comes through and says, you got to put in your own work around here. I mean, it sounds like a Kobe thing to say, honestly.
Yeah, you're right.
And he places a gun on the ground. It's in LA too. And he's like, you do the shooting. And like, I'm not going to shoot for you. And he's like, but he still says, he's like, you're not going to shoot me in the back. Because at first he just picks up the cigarette and smokes, and he goes to pick up the gun, and Jake shoots him in the ass, which I didn't expect, which is hilarious. Just the sell on Alonso's like, you motherfucker, you shot me in the ass.
Yeah. Like, why did he say that, man? Like,
yeah, I know. And that's like, clearly you shot him in.
Yeah, exactly. That's such a movie thing. You shot me in the ass. Like, why would he say that?
Yeah, I don't know, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was.
He delivered it. But then so Kobe steps up again and says that I guess that's all it took. They just needed to see someone stand up to Alonso. He's like, yo, we got your back. They point the guns at him. And again, I thought this movie was gonna end off kind of like the lions like over the gazelle kind of thing. I was like, oh, they're gonna pop him right here, because I wasn't actually sure how the movie ended. So I was like, oh, this is Jake's, because it was kind of badass way it ended. Jake's just like walking away, and they're all just like slowly huddling in. But then we get obviously like the famous speech, like the whole thing, like you think you can do this shit to me, and like the whole like, oh, you guys be playing basketball in Pelican Bay.
So good.
Yeah, it was so
It's
good.
so
King
good.
Kong ain't got shit on me.
Yeah, but, so good.
It was a great speech. Speech. And but then so then we get Alonso does get out, because then no one is gonna shoot him, because again he's too well known. It'd be the thing, like he gets popped over there, it wouldn't take long for them to realize, okay, this is probably what happened. So he drives away, stops at a traffic light, and a van pulls up next to him. And I thought it was gonna like be like a whole like side pop out of the van situation. They just, let him up, close it, and then drive away. But they mislead you, because then what actually happens is a car just pulls up in front of him. Another car pulls up. He kind of hides in his car, but they shoot up the car. He comes out. I don't know, why would he come out?
Blow his ass up.
Yeah, and there's a little light his ass up. He looks like he's dancing. His
like
arms
the rag doll, like like his body. Yeah, that's it's a little funny. He went out sorry, bro.
But then we get the news report of Alonso's death as Jake's walking to his home, and it's the same news report that he was basically saying when he was threatening Jake, saying, "This is gonna be the news report. They're gonna read about you." So it's a nice little cute like button for the men.
I like that. Yeah, I like that they did, like you said, the same thing that he was saying to Jake. You know, there'd be this LAPD officer survived by his wife and 4 sons and blah, blah, blah. But my question is, why did he get like the decorated officer treatment, like on that news broadcast? Like, he was a crooked cop, and Jake got the money so he could turn him in. Yeah. So wouldn't he's like, because Alonso's like, you don't have evidence that I did this shit. He's like, my evidence is right there, all that money in the bag. So Jake has the money. Wouldn't he have given that money to the police, turned him in, like told him what happened, and then they'd be like, okay, he's a crooked cop, and then why would he get the treatment saying, you know, he's a decorated police officer, dies in the line of duty, blah, blah, blah? Like, did they just do that so that they're covering up for the public? Like, they don't have to tell the public that they had a crooked cop, or like, you know?
Yeah, it probably is the latter of what you said. They wouldn't want to openly admit. If they could hide that, right, they'd probably hide it, because then it's they'd become a whole thing if you think about it. Like, let's say it's a different time, but if you think of that something like that happened today, that shit would like blow up in social media, especially when they start listing all the possible things that he did that was crooked. The whole like enforcement would still be under investigation, probably by the FBI and everything. You know what I mean? Probably, I think it mostly blows up everyone else's spot because everyone else was like, as we saw those dudes, like those three wise men, or whatever, they were involved with him too. So they're probably not the only ones too. So it probably blows up everybody's spot.
That's the sequel.
That's the sequel.
That's the sequel. But I actually did see that like around the release of this, just before actually, it did happen in real life. Like there was an LAPD like task force. It was called Crash, and it was like the gangs unit basically of the LAPD. And yeah, they were basically, it was like this movie. Like they were known to be basically one of the biggest gangs in the city because they were taking hits, stealing money, and none of the gangs could really counter or like respond to them or fight back because they were the cops, right? So yeah, it was actually cool that I read that they credited it, that they were already in production of the movie, but that coming out helped with the completion of the movie and the buzz surrounding it. So I guess it was kind of a happy accident for the movie. Yeah,
but, perfect. Like perfect, like marketing almost. Like I didn't see that. That is really interesting. Do you have any other like fact? We kind of were spitting out facts throughout the movie. Do you have anything else you wanted to noticed?
I have one last thing to say, like for the end of the movie, and it's actually like literally in the credits. Like because I was like as the movie ended, and I was writing down a few notes. And so the credits were rolling, and I looked up on my screen, and someone was credited for wardrobe for Denzel Washington. Just for Denzel. And I was like, first of all, that's only one guy, which is weird. Normally it's just wardrobe for the movie, right, that someone gets credit for. But I was also like, this whole movie takes place in one day. He's wearing like 2 fits. Like this guy did 10 seconds of work, came up with 2 outfits for the guy and got credited on the movie. Like what? What a great gig.
That is a good gig. One thing I did notice though too is like Lonzo got the benefit, because as we're gonna get into our awards later, but he got the benefit of actually being able to change. Jake had to wear the same thing all day. Lonzo had to change his clothes at least like 3 times. We see him in 3 different fits. Like the coffee fit, he changed and then he changed again. Like when he was in his coffee fit. When he went to go get, like we saw his side go for the first time, he changed then. And then when we saw him again, like when Jake went to confront him, he was in different clothes again. Right. He was in 3 different fits. He had to change his clothes. Jake was in the same thing all day.
Okay, well, you're right. And the wardrobe guy had three fits.
Okay, I mean, even then, still, I know, big difference. But that is crazy that he had his own wardrobe person. Maybe he has in all his movies. We gotta go check. Yeah, maybe Denzel always has his own guy.
I doubt it.
He's very meticulous, I've heard.
Is he? Oh yeah,
very meticulous actor. Yeah.
Okay.
He's not like, people don't say bad things about him. Like, it's hard to work with Denzel, but he's very much. I've heard he's very much like attention to detail. Maybe. I heard Ryan Reynolds is like that too, but he could be.
Really?
Now I'm curious. We'll have to check on the next one.
Yeah, that surprises me, Ryan Reynolds, just because like I don't know, he's more of like a comedy goofy actor. I feel like a lot of that is. Like especially in comedies, a lot of that is improv, or like you're kind of going with the flow of things. So like
I meant to hear that he's very like what he's wearing and what he's wearing.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know about how like the acting process, but I just know he's like I don't know if my character would wear that. Like he's someone that gives pushback. He's like, I don't see my character wearing that. I've heard of him say that about just 2 movies. I don't know if he's like that in every movie, but I feel like if you do it in 2 movies, you're probably gonna do it in all of them. Like yeah. But anyways, did you have any other interesting?
Yeah, I got. Well, I mean, I kind of mentioned it, saying that they shot on location.
Yeah,
and I thought it was interesting that they did that because they actually got permission, like from the gangs in the area, to shoot in those very infamous locations. And it's the first time that any gangs had allowed a film crew to do that. So I think having like a black director and a black lead, and I'm sure they explained to him like the premise, saying it's a movie about crooked cops, so they're like, oh yeah, perfect, yeah, you guys can shoot over here. But so that I found was interesting, and that another kind of exchange or like a part of the deal was that some of the real gang members were actually in the movie. It's like some of the guys that, like you said, as they were walking through and they're kind of flexing their muscles, showing their guns or whatever, some of those are real gang members.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
You know, it's interesting you say that about. I don't know about the gang members thing. You said that was the first time that they've shot like in that hood, or you're saying, or
Yeah.
the fact that that's the first time something's been shot in a hood.
No,
You
in
said
those specific locations.
in those
Yeah.
specific. Oh, okay, okay. 'Cause I remember
Right.
I watched a movie. I don't know if you ever heard of Menace to Society. You ever heard of that movie?
Yes.
Because there's something similar happened in that too, where it was like I remember I was watching with my dad, and then we watched like the behind the scenes, and the guys were like, "Oh yeah, we actually had gang members in the movie. They actually like gave us like little tidbit, which is really I mean, and it is just people, but it
Mhm.
does feel wild. Like it's just like we're shooting in these guys' hood, but it's cool. They find it's cool because like oh we get to be in a movie and everything. But at the end of the day, it's still pretty wild.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gotta be eerie, especially if you're someone that's just like again, you say you have black directors, but I'm sure there's just like random like people from like the suburbs and stuff, and there's like in hoods like doing like
Yeah.
sound and shit, and they
Yeah,
see guys with
we
guns
need a
walking
Kevin
around.
James sound guy thing of that. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like
seriously.
the white intern that's like 21 years old and he's never been out of the suburbs and
That's
he's
what I'm saying.
directing gang members like, hey, can I get some sound over here? Man, shut up, little nigga. You know?
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be terrifying. The dude just trying to work on lighting and is like, can I get you to move your do-rag a little bit, sir? It's just it's shining too much.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, you're right. That would be funny.
Well, that is interesting though. You know what I saw? I feel like it's always interesting to see these when you find like people that were considered for the roles. I don't know if you saw any of those
Mhm.
considerations. Did you see some of them or no?
Yeah, I did. I have some, but go ahead.
Okay, you saw the Tobey Maguire one.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting. It said that he went undercover as a narcotics officer in LA for 2 months and he gained weight and then they dropped him once Ethan Hawke said he could do it.
Yeah, that's rough, man. Poor Toby,
That
dude.
is rough. There's two other people too. They said that Christian Bale, which I couldn't imagine him being
I didn't see
Jake.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, they said Christian Bale being Jake. That's so I
You
couldn't
don't
see
think he
that.
could do it? I think I could see it.
I don't know. I can't imagine him being like a
Like
I can't imagine him
what
next
aspects do you
him
think he
next to
wouldn't do well with?
Denzel being like I don't want to say submissive, but being like a
Second.
lesser second guy.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like the visual. I think it's because I know what he is now. Where at the time it would have been like no one knows who Christian Bale is. Like, well, I shouldn't say no one. I think American Psycho came out before then. It was close.
88? Or
No,
wait,
no,
wait, no.
What do you mean
Why did
80?
I
This
say
came out
88?
2001.
Yeah,
You're
I don't
thinking
know
of
what I'm talking
Coming to America.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But no, this is
No,
2001.
you're right.
I can't.
Okay.
So it's close, but yeah, I just couldn't see that for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, I can understand that.
Do you think you could
Well,
see Bale?
like you mentioned, like the having him like as a second fiddle, but I think the role in the movie isn't necessarily secondary to Denzel.
Yeah, it's true.
Like but his character is second to him, and I think he could do that. I think
You know what? Yeah, you know what's messing me up? I paused for a second. I imagined like American Psycho / like Batman, him looking like that. But then I thought about like, what if it was not to this extreme, but him in The Machinist, like being
skinny,
but obviously, not as skinny, but like being like a little more fragile, like that look of Christian Bale, like kind of like the hair and everything, like not clean shaven, long hair and all that. I could see him looking like that. Now that makes a little more sense now I think about it.
Yeah.
I can see that. And the other one I saw was Eminem.
Yeah.
They said
That's what I was gonna say, yeah. But he
Which
turned
is
it down
why-
to do 8 Mile.
Yeah.
I was like, this would be horrible with Eminem. I think he would be terrible as Jake.
Because it's too much. Like I don't know if have you seen 8 Mile or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that works because again he's just playing himself. But in this, I feel like there's too much that makes him like that you need from an actor that you couldn't get from him. I don't think like what he gave you in 8 Mile is perfect for what that character was, but this character, I think that's too much acting chops for him.
I agree.
just
Yeah.
wouldn't.
I don't think he's a great, but I also think like because Jake is the morally right in every occasion. He's turning down smoking and drinking and all this stuff, and I can't see Eminem realistically be like, no man, I don't smoke weed. No, I have a little daughter at home. Like I'm not right with getting this money. Like no, I only do the good thing, and I'm not saying that Eminem's like a bad guy, but like I don't know,
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't see him
Well, especially at
doing
that
this.
time, that was
That's what I
drug.
mean, especially like his persona too, like in the rap game, right? Like he's, you know, he's enunciating like rap culture, which is, you know, a lot of it is drugs and shooting
Yeah.
and being tough and all this stuff. So like I don't know, I just don't think he would do well. And like you say, I just don't think he's a good enough actor really to do it.
Yeah, no, just wouldn't have worked out. The only thing it would just been kind of funny and kind of cool to see him in scenes with Dre and Snoop.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like
That would've been
literally,
cool.
like you said, Still Dre, they play Still Dre in the song, and Eminem's in that music video. All three of them are in that song.
Yeah,
So it's just been a
good
kind of
point.
like almost like an irony, like a cool little if you know kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right.
And there's one last fact. If I don't know if you had anything else you want to throw out before I
No,
throw out my
I
last
just
one.
had, well, I had the prequel, but I mentioned it earlier. So
Oh, okay. So the last thing that I saw, what I thought was kind of cool, is that when they're at the house and like they're drinking beer, it's like a small thing. They're drinking this beer that's called like Heisler beer, and
Okay.
I saw that apparently it's a fictional beer brand that's been used in over 57 movies and TV shows. I'm not gonna read all 57, but just so you know, like it's in some big shit. Like they have it in Stranger Things, How I Met Your Mother, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Malcolm in the Middle, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Footloose, and Superbad, just to name 2 movies.
I'm not surprised. Like because it's like fictional, so they can use it royalty free, right? Like if they use a real beer, then they have to pay. So like I get it. It's kind of funny. There's something similar to that I had seen a while ago, is like a newspaper. Like there's a
fake.
a page of a newspaper, or like a couple pages of a newspaper that's the same thing, and it's in like a ton of different shows and movies, and
really?
characters are reading this, like it's the same newspaper that they're all reading, because they don't have any like real words on it or real stories on it, right? Just in case anyone pauses and wants to read it or whatever. So it's all just like these fake stories. So it's like the exact same newspaper that everyone's using. But
That's interesting.
You know, that is interesting. I never realized that about the beer, but it makes sense.
No, for sure. And it made me kind of curious because I started looking, because I saw a couple images on the thing, and I was like, yeah, they're all drinking that beer. It's just like these little still shots and like How I Met Your Mother and all the shows. I'm like, yeah, they're all drinking that same. And something you never realize.
Exactly.
Unless like you're a complete sicko, just like really dissecting everything in these TV shows, especially the shows like How I Met Your Mother and like sitcoms. There's just too many episodes for you to be focusing on like a specific episode where they were drinking this beer or whatever it is.
Yeah. And it's so insignificant. Like it's just like they are drinking a beer. Like it doesn't matter what it is. And I think
they drink all the time in the show.
Yeah. And I think that's why they're like, it's not worth paying Corona or whatever to have for them to be drinking Corona. Like, who cares what they're drinking? They're just drinking beer. So that's why they just get this free fake beer and let's do it.
Exactly. So that being said, we'll move on to the.
That being said, it's time for the filmies, everybody. So here we are. It is this is our award show here at the Film Room. We got 6 awards that we're gonna give out, and let's jump right into it. So we're gonna go first. Let's start with your favorite quote, Dion. So this is self-explanatory. Your favorite quote from the movie. What is it?
All right. Well, it's the King Kong quote, and I can go through the I can go through it. I have it written down here. So it's like, you think you can do this shit to me, Jake? You think you can do this shit to me? So you motherfuckers will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I'm finished with you. Shoot program, nigga. 23-hour lockdown. I'm the man in this piece. You'll never see the light. You'll never see the light. It's like, who the fuck you think you're dealing with? I'm the police. I run this shit here. You just live here. And then it goes into and it kind of cuts here. And it's like, cause I'm gonna burn this motherfucker down. King Kong ain't got shit on me. It's a long thing.
That was an ad lib, eh?
Yeah, I heard it was improv.
Yeah,
I literally just saw that when I was looking at the facts, but I was like, that's crazy.
That's so hard. Yeah, it's such a great like little monologue. It's so good. It's a great quote, man. Like it's, we've all seen it. Even if you haven't seen the movie, you've seen it. Like you haven't seen the movie before, I'm sure you've seen that speech. Yeah, it's so good. So mine is, there's actually, we kind of talk about like Alonzo has a lot of good quotes in this, saying you know, he says it multiple times. Do you want to go to jail? Do you want to go home? Like there's a lot of things that are really good, and they say a lot about the movie or his character. But I went a totally different direction.
Okay.
And I
I'm glad.
took literally the first line of the movie.
Oh,
So it's when Jake is waking up and his wife is breastfeeding.
Mhm.
And so he wakes up, he rolls over there, he says, "What are you doing up?" And she looks at him and says, "Moo."
Oh.
Because she's breastfeeding. I was like,
yeah.
who says that? Like, what? Like, I was like, I can't, come on. Like, you open the movie with this cheap ass breastfeeding joke. I was like, moo.
Well, you're saying it's your favorite, your best quote.
Just because I was like, what the
it's so
fuck is
goofy.
this? Like, who says this?
You know, at first I didn't hear what she said. I had to rewind. I was like, what did she say? Because honestly, that the scene opens up kind of creepy, to be honest. Like, he's waking up and his wife's just like in the corner. I didn't realize she was breastfeeding at first. I was
She's
like,
like
what's going on?
staring at him.
Yeah. Moo.
Moo. Yeah, she says it so quiet too. And he doesn't even like bat an eye. He's just like, okay, yeah, she's breastfeeding. Like imagine your girl, like, is you wake up and she's breastfeeding, you're like, oh, what are you doing up? Moo. I'd be like, the fuck are you even, what? Just say you're breastfeeding. Like, what?
No, I like that. I like, because when you said that at first, I was like, first quote, what are the first things said in the movie? That
Literally the first line in the movie. I heard it right as the movie started. I was like, that's my quote. That's fucking ridiculous. That's all right. So we're gonna move on to our lazy award, Ferris Bueller Award. So
okay,
this is something a person or a part of the movie or someone behind the scenes that we thought was lazy and deserves to be chastised for it. So who gets your lazy award?
I guess it goes to the writer. I forgot his name. That's Dave. Is it Dave Ayo or something? Ayer. Well, it doesn't matter. But Ayo. But it was for the shootout scene. So like when Alonzo's going out, when they rob the girl of her money, whatever, and he comes out of the car and just starts shooting at like 10 dudes with no car. To me, it's just like lazy writing, because I'm just like,
yeah.
These guys are shooting at him. You're already in the car, and he comes out and just starts firing. There's like 10 guys out there. To me, it just makes no sense.
The middle of the street.
To me, it makes no sense. Because like he can only really shoot at maybe like 3 guys at the same time. What about the other guys? Like they weren't all in the same spot. There was dudes from different areas shooting at him.
Yeah.
It just made no sense. For him to not even be like, yo, Jake, cover me. Or like get out of the car and shoot behind the car. He gets out of the car and just open lane, like everybody hears my body, shoot at, and no one gets one. He doesn't even get nicked or anything. Nothing.
Yeah,
So
they
to
don't
me,
even
that was
shoot
a little-
until after they get in the whip and drive away. Then they shoot the windows.
Exactly. Like I don't know if they were supposed to be scare bullets or something, but nah. To me, it was just.
He's like, I'm Denzel Washington. These are uncredited extras. They're not hitting a shot on me. Like, I can walk out and do it. These are stormtroopers, bro. This is easy work.
And to me, that was just lazy. Even though it was badass, to me, as soon as I was like, this is so stupid, though. It doesn't make sense because these guys are shooting at you. It's not like you're in the other place where these guys wouldn't shoot you. These guys are shooting at you, and you're just going out blazing like that. I'm like,
yeah.
I'll accept this in the Equalizer, not in this.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, you're right. It's lazy. You're right. It's lazy.
What about you?
Yeah, my lazy goes to Jake and Alonzo.
Okay.
So this is after they, well, I guess more Alonzo.
Okay.
So because it's after they rob Roger and they kill him, right? And they're getting their story straight, and then like all the cops pull up.
Yeah.
So right after this, they're chilling in the car, and this is when Jake is giving his pushback. He's like, man, no, I can't be like this. You know, there's got to be a better way to get ahead or a better way to do this. It can't be all like this. And so he's talking about like all the bad shit that they just did in the house. You know, he's saying, you can't do that. This is wrong. All these cops are all around them, and the windows are down in the car. I'm like, are you guys serious? Like you just robbed someone, murdered him, spent all this time, you shot your own team to cover your tracks, and you're getting your story straight and everything. And you're just talking about this with the windows down. There's cops everywhere. What are you guys doing? So
I didn't even notice that.
I literally had to pause and go back because I was like, wait a second, is that window open? I was like, yeah, it is. What are they doing? Like, that's why I say I give it to Alonzo more, because Jake like doesn't care if they hear. Like, he'll give him up. He doesn't really care, right?
No, exactly.
But like Alonzo, who's been careful this whole movie, is just talking about this shit with the windows open with cops all over the place. What are they doing?
No, it makes no sense. That is so stupid. I didn't even catch that. I mean, again, because it's your second view, you're like looking around, but your layered viewing, I did not notice. That's hilarious. That's hella lazy.
Lazy as fuck. Like, come on, dude. You've taken all these other precautions, and you're just gonna do this?
And that's how they get bagged.
Yeah,
a conversation with the window down.
All right, so we're gonna move to our fit check. So best or worst fit in the movie. Who gets your fit check?
All right, so my fit check goes to Kobe, aka Bones. I think that was his name. We called him Bones. And again, this movie is easy because everyone it's easy and it's also kind of tough because it's the same day, so you don't get a lot of variety in clothes. Whatever you see someone wearing, they're basically wearing the whole movie. But I kind of liked his fit, just a little different. I was gonna give it to Alonzo Lishy, but I was like, nah, I like this guy's fit. He had like I couldn't really tell what the color was just based off like the color correction on the movie. I don't know if it was silver, like his it was kind of like a dress shirt. He got an open dress shirt, and he's got like these gray pants and a gray shirt. He's got a red t-shirt under, and he's got his chain, the cross on it. He's also got a nice, I don't know if it's a Rolex. I'm gonna give him Rolex just to give it to him. He's got his do-rag on. I don't know, maybe he's got waves under there. Maybe we never got to see. You never got a wave check. And then it's very hard to see, and I literally had to like pause it. And you see it for like 2 seconds because I want to see what his shoes were. His shoes were like, I think they were like Tim's or something, but they were red Tim's. He's staying true to the blood. So he's got his red blood shirt. He's got his red blood Tim's. I've never seen red Tim's before, so I was like, okay, I'll give that to him. But I like the fit. The fit was clean. Shout out. Kobe.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
I'll give the timestamp. It's an hour and 48 if you want to get a good look at this.
Yeah, toward the end, eh?
Yeah, exactly. When he's the whole handing the gun over and all that stuff, you get to see a good amount of it.
Yeah. Once again, we have the same fit, Dion.
Oh snap!
Yeah, I gave it to Bone as well at the end.
Yeah,
certified. So he's certified fit check.
Certified fit check.
Because he's unanimous. But yeah, I had the same fit because a lot of the other fits are kind of regular. Like all the cops are just like in, some of them are wearing like a vest or whatever. Jake's got a couple shirts on. Alonzo's kind of swagged out, but I don't know. It was really baggy, and it's more like I get it. That's the time, but I don't know. It wasn't that great.
No, for sure. But, this stands out. You know what I mean? And most of the stuff was just black. It was just like very like, all black layer. This popped,
and I like Bone. Like I had written down it was tan. I thought it was tan, like the color of the the two-piece kind of. It might have been like a lightish gray. Like I'm not really sure. Like you said, it's kind of. Not exactly sure what it is, but it's clean. Like the open dress shirt with like the chest pockets with the matching pants, and then it goes well with the red shirt underneath. It's actually a Rockaware shirt. You could see there's a moment where it opens up and there's the logo underneath.
Oh shit!
So it's a Rockaware shirt.
Snoop was wearing a Rockaware shirt too.
Yes, yeah, he was.
Got rap all over this movie.
Yeah, they got
so much to rocking FUBU too.
Some East Coast, love going on in this.
That's true.
In this West Coast movie.
Oh damn.
The Jesus piece, like you say, the earrings. It was just I didn't even clock the red Tims though. That's clean.
It was hard to clock it. It was when he put down the gun. I was like, oh wait, what are those shoes? I had to literally frame by frame, and I got the blurriest picture. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure those are red Tims. I'm pretty sure. I'm looking at the picture.
We'll give him red Tim. Yeah, we'll give him red Tims. No, he was fresh, 100%. Yeah, certified fit check.
All right, perfect.
Okay, so we'll go to our sixth man, our Nas Reed Award. So this is someone with a small role inside the movie or behind the scenes that showed out in their role. So who gets your sixth man award?
So my sixth man goes to, it's Morano. That was his name. He was one of the guys, one of the Latino dudes. He was the bald one.
Okay.
And to me, his banter was just the funniest of all of them. I mean, obviously, the guy that Tuco was hilarious too. But I was like, how long you been a pig? He started the banter. He's like, and then when the whole cards thing, when like Tuco was going crazy because he thinks he won, he's like, you're a stupid idiot. He's like, you didn't win. And he gives him a middle finger. He's like, yeah, that's right. I'm number one. And then this whole thing, like, let me see the gun. And then he's like pretending to shoot him. And then even when he gets serious, and then he's just like, he's the one that initiated. You ever get your shit pushed in? Like he's the one that initiated.
He asked it so casually.
Yeah. And that just his whole delivery, the other thing, it was just like him goofing and just with him. That scene was funny. It was like it got so funny and then it got intense. Like once we realized Alonso's gone, but those guys were killing me, man. I almost wanted to give it to all of them as a collective, but I just had to give it to him because I don't know the I'm number one, and then him asking initially, like, "You ever got your shit pushing?" Because when he said that, I almost like did a spit take because I didn't. Why am I expecting him to ask that?
Yeah,
I did not expect him to ask that. That shit made me laugh so hard. And then obviously the Tuco's character went harder with it, but yeah, no, I have to give Marno my I actually saw he's in the TV show. I saw he's credited in the TV show from 2017. I don't know how that makes any sense. All new characters, but he's suddenly in there like 20 years older. Out of
a little cameo or something. Or,
maybe.
Or maybe he's just playing someone totally different. I don't know.
Maybe he asked someone else to get their shit pushed in.
Yeah.
He's famous for that.
He's pushing someone's shit in, maybe. I don't know. But you're right. That's a great scene because of those guys. Like they're hilarious. Like
they're hilarious.
Honestly, there's points where Jake is just sitting there and they're like riffing on each other, cracking jokes with each other. It is great. Like they're so funny with each other. And you're right, tiny role, but he's killing the role, and it's hilarious. He's great.
What about you? What was your thank you? What was your six man?
So my Nasreed award goes to Paul. So this is Dr. Dre's character.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So really, I mean, kind of like we talked about, like he's so hostile to Jake instantly. Like as soon as he meets him, he's just like, and the bars that he spits out, like, you a long way from Starbucks. Like, but like as soon as he meets the guy, he's just like, hey man, this fucking white dude. But I'm like, does he not trust him because he's white? But I'm like, there's other white dudes on the team.
Yeah, I know.
So like, why is it the white thing? Like,
I don't know.
Why else would he make this Starbucks joke?
That's what I mean.
I assumed it was a white thing, but I was like, there's other white guys on the team, so I didn't get that. But like, just his hostility towards him from the jump, I was like, this guy he's got a tiny role, and Dr. Dre's like, no, fuck this guy. They told him like, you hate Jake for no reason. He said, say less, I got you. And he's just the choir boy first, and like, I don't know, just all the little bars that he hits, and just his complete hostility toward Jake. His disdain, that's a good word. Yeah, his disgust for Jake. He's just like, fuck this guy, this Starbucks ass looking guy. I hate him.
No, that's good. I like that. Word. I like that. That's good. That's good. Because you're right. He's not from the jump, like you said. He just was not feeling Jake, and
for no reason.
He held up to it, never turned, and that's just how it ends.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah, he's a real one. He's like, nah, I hate this guy and I don't like him, and it is what it is. So respect. Second last, we're gonna do our best scene. So self-explanatory. What was your best scene?
All right. So my favorite scene was the scene when they were robbing Roger. So
okay.
I thought it was funny. Just I mean, it was interesting just to see them go through the whole like scenario of just like him robbing him, and then when Jake flipped on him, and I thought it was interesting because we got that moment where we finally got to see more of Alonso's nature of just like when he like that was like that to me that was the biggest surprise of the movie. Like when he first was talking about the whole narcotics thing, I was kind of buying. I was like, oh, if you're gonna be narcotics, you gotta take narcotics. I assume like we're all on it, so now we know we can trust you, kind of thing. But I never realized that he had like this plan to like, oh, if you flip on us, well, I'm gonna get them to check your blood. And when he basically said that thing, I was like, oh snap. So to me, that was like a definitely another tone switch, like in the movie. Like it's always been kind of a light movie throughout of it, but there's certain moments when it gets a little, I guess, darker. And that was one of those moments where like it got dark. And like obviously he shot Roger. It was another level. And I just really liked it because of that, because the tone really shifted in that moment.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's a great scene, and we see the team for the first time all together, and we kind of learn exactly, like you said, like what his plan was leading up to this, and we see them execute, and we get the extent really of his corruption, right? Because we've seen him like kind of like in these interactions when he's arresting someone, or he's dealing like when he's dealing with the crackheads, when he's taking the weed off of the kids that just bought it, like. He's obviously doing stuff he's not supposed to, like pulling the guns on them and threatening them. Like, you're not supposed to do that, but it's not that deep.
Yeah.
Whereas then when we see him kill someone and steal their money, and then Jake flips on him, and then there's the whole, oh shit, what's gonna happen next with that? Like, great scene, I agree.
Yeah, and there's the one little line too that made me laugh too, when he's like, he's like, you want to walk your little baby nuts around the corner, you won't make it far. I don't know, I don't know why, but just like, walk your little baby nuts, to just have me die.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that is good.
Dying. But yeah, that was my best scene.
Yeah, no, I love it. And so we got 2 certifieds.
Oh snap!
That's my best scene
one.
too, bro.
Hey.
Like I said, like, see the team for the first time, learning the full extent of Alonso's corruption, like how he's doing what he's doing. This is right after he's with those 3 wise men, and he gets the arrest warrant for Roger. So he's like, this is how it's gonna go down. Like, we taken the money from you. I got this arrest warrant. Boom. Like, so we're learning, okay, he stole the money to buy the arrest warrant. And so these are all steps to his plan, right? So like, we're seeing it all come together. It comes together so well. And then like the back and forth when Jake gets control and he's got the gun in his face, but he's smiling and he's like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about, Jake. Like, it's so good. And everything about that scene, I love it. So
hey,
certified. 2 certifications
that's
so
dope,
far.
bro.
And we got MVP coming up, so we might
That's
even have
true.
a trifecta.
We might have a trifecta.
So like I just said, our final award, MVP, who gets it for you?
So my MVP goes to Denzel, and to me, he just did a great job, to put it simply, of just balancing this character out. Because again, first viewing, and I felt like he had a perfect balance of being funny in this character, and then you get the moments when he's just like, there's like funny moments of him being bad, and there's just straight bad, or it's just like, oh, he's come on, take the drug, and then just straight up putting a gun to his head, and then being like a dick and being like, oh, get the hell out of my car, whatever, rookie. and then he has other good moments too, where he's just like, he gives them props. He's like, man, you really took those guys down there. Like, he's like, good job, crime fighter, or whatever it is. And then later on, you just see him taking money from that aunt. You see him taking money from Roger. But then like, there's also like, he has another moment where he's just like, especially in that moment in the car after they took the money from Roger, and he's like, Roger's so cracked to kids, man. Like, I got that guy off the street. Then it's just like, oh, is he actually like have a good heart? But he just has, does he actually like a good guy that just has a really bad way of doing it? And maybe he can change. Maybe Jake can help him change. Like, I understand what you're trying to do, dude, but like, maybe we can do this a different way. And then maybe he can. I know the movie wasn't gonna end like that, but like, just the way he was in that scene, it almost gives you that little bit of like hope. Like, oh, maybe he actually isn't a bad guy. But then like in the next scene, he'll just do something really horrible. It's just interesting though that he can do so many bad things. And then there's always little moments, like maybe later on, where he seems like he's almost redeeming. It's almost believable too, which I just think it was just really good portrayal by Denzel to have that balance within that character.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like you said, the way that he makes you think, oh, is he really a good guy? Like, if he's making you think that as a viewer, that's what you need from your actor, right? Because that's what Jake is feeling, right? Like, especially early on, like when he's like, he's offering him a beer, he's getting him to take the drugs, and he's like, at first he's charming with him, and he's saying, oh, you just take the drugs, man, we're all doing it, and don't worry, we know when we're gonna get tested. And like you said, he congratulates him when he takes down those crack addicts. He's like, oh no, you did a good thing back there, like you really did, it was good. And so like, Jake doesn't know what to feel too, right? He's like, is this guy a good guy? Like, is he a bad guy? Like, I see him doing bad things, but he also, so like, the fact that Denzel is showing us that, and he's making you feel that as an audience member watching the movie, I think that just shows how great the performance was. I mean, he won the best actor at the Oscars for this, so like, he well deserved. Like, it's a great performance, and that's our hat trick, man. He's my MVP as well.
Hey, certified.
I think we've only ever had like one.
No, I think there was another movie where there's another movie we had 2. I can't remember which one it was. I don't even. Yeah, I can't remember which one it was, but we definitely had 2. But I don't think we ever had 3.
Yeah, this is our first hat trick for sure. Yeah. But all the reasons you said, like, he just kills his performance, and like the way he does both sides of that, and like he's charming when he needs to be, but he's also manipulative because he's using like that charming and positive nature to get people to do his bidding for him, right? And then as we see with Roger, right, like we see him super nice and friendly with him, and then he flips on him, so we understand, okay, this guy, he's playing everybody, like he's just using everybody around him. And if Denzel doesn't have that great of a performance, right, and you have someone that is just a nasty guy all the time, you'd be like, okay, how does he get people to be on his side? And right, so like the fact that he's making us guess as viewers when we see everything that's going around just shows how great the performance was. And I mean, when he's intimidating, when he has to be, and the way like he carries himself in the hoods, like he owns the place, like it just, every little aspect of his performance is so good for that character. It's so great. And then finally that monologue, like we said, like what your quote, it's incredible. Like I can't say anything else about it. It's just the most valuable player. It is what it is.
Yeah, he crushes it, man. And I'm excited to do more Denzel movies going forward. You know,
for sure.
One of his top movies I actually haven't seen is I haven't seen Malcolm X, and it's mostly just because it's 3 hours long. It's gonna have the time for it, but it's definitely a movie that we probably should end up doing eventually. We haven't touched 3-hour movies yet, but I feel like it's definitely something that, I mean, if we like it, actually, I don't know. Maybe one of us. It doesn't matter if we like it or not. Maybe we'll do it in the future or something. Because maybe one person will like it. I can't imagine just not liking it. But
and I love Denzel. Like I like a lot of his movies. So when he's great in pretty much any of his movies, like even some of his movies aren't the best, but like he's always really good. And like he's in Gladiator 2 coming out this year.
Yeah, true.
So looking forward to seeing that.
Be doing that one.
We'll be doing that one. So yeah, Denzel's a great actor. I mean, he's one of the greatest of all time, I think.
No, I agree. Yeah, I definitely think he's up there on that Mount Rushmore. We can do an episode on that, talking about some of the greatest actors.
Ooh,
but he's definitely up there. He's definitely up there.
Like a draft? Like
definitely do something like that.
A tier list or something? Yeah, we can do something.
We can do something.
Send us a comment or something. If you guys have an idea or something you want us to do, let us know.
No, for sure. But anyway, it's gonna wrap it up for this episode. Thanks again for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, Apple. If you have Apple, leave a 5-star review and we'll read it on the show. Doesn't matter what it is, we'll read it on the show. Make it funny, make it serious, whatever you want to do, we'll read it. But don't forget to also follow and /subscribe for us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube at The Film Room Pod. And most importantly, while you're still listening to the podcast, I want you to get up, look yourself in the mirror, and ask, are you a wolf or are you a sheep? Oh.